Hey, I'm back. So excited to finally be back. I was without internet for 7 days.
You having an unnatural allegiance to losers is not like
I don't appreciate you talking to my internet service provider. Not cool, Cat Williams. I didn't know. So many, and I think I told you guys there was a holiday, very big holiday, so nobody was coming out to fix my shit. Then someone did come, and then they couldn't find my house. It's all bad. So now I think I'm now the final boss of podcasting. I have 2 separate companies and 2 separate routers. So I might have some sort of cancer because of this, but I shouldn't have connection problems because of this. But I asked the technician that came out to one of the my main company. I said, "Is it true that someone stole the fiber optic?" He goes, "Yes, someone stole the fiber optic cable." And I was like, "That's ridiculous. That is so ridiculous." And I saw as soon as I got on the show, someone already made a joke about Puffy and all the baby oil. And all I have to say about that, in defense of an excess amount of baby oil, I live in a very dry climate, and I have a fear of being ashy. I don't wear shoes a lot, or socks rather, so I don't want to have ashy ankles. So I do have extra lotion. Maybe Puffy has a fear of ash like myself. Maybe the dryness of New York City is why he feels he needs 1,000 bottles of baby oil. I doubt it, but and also, as I was waiting for Mac to come on the show, I was listening to Public Image Limited. I forget the name of the song, but it just has this repeating part. It just goes, "This is what you want, this is what you get." And Mac goes, "Oh, that's what Puffy was saying at his trial." Virtuoso says, "No internet drove you mad?" No, not really. It drove me mad in the sense that I couldn't complete tasks for this show, and I always get mad if the work is too much. And I was using my phone as a hotspot, and on Saturday you guys didn't see it because it was right when the show ended. My phone throttled my hotspot. I can't use it as a hotspot anymore. Maybe till next month, but hopefully I have to use it. But anyway, enough about that. Let's bring in my co-host in this fun sports endeavor. Please welcome Matt.
What up, y'all?
Dude, what's up?
Yeah, okay. I don't think it's a fear of being ashy for Mr. Combs.
You don't think?
No.
You never know.
I would find it amazingly ironic is when he gets sentenced, and he will. He's not beating these charges. I don't care how much he pays that attorney.
Mm-hmm.
He offered up a $50 million bond to stay out of jail, and the judge was like, "Nah, bro, not gonna happen." And you know how the state likes money, and if they're turning down that shit,
I mean, I feel look, he's gonna have to be in protective custody because them talking about these bragging about freak offs.
Yep, freak
you
offs.
Do not want inmates to be like, "Hey, heard you like freak offs."
Yeah, it would be amazingly ironic when you could go to the prison website and get his mailing address, and people just start mailing him baby oil.
This is all he's gonna hear.
We coming for you, nigga.
And it's not gonna be haha funny.
Oh yeah, especially when the details come out about how young some of these girls were.
Oh, dude, it's pretty bad. And we did a whole show around this idea of the euphemism pimp. Like, "Oh, what's up, pimp?" Like if it's a young person, your young man is going to a job interview or something, dressed nice, like, "Oh, go ahead, pimp." Like we're so kind of flippant with that terminology. And I was like, why don't you just change it to sex trafficker? Like say that. Every rap song you ever heard, change it to sex trafficking and see if it hits the same way.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how I feel about Puffy. I think for some people, that realization is hitting in that like, oh wow, we really have glorified a certain behavior and this behavior isn't good. Like I'm working on this piece. The next thing I'm writing for the crisis papers is why I think hair metal is no more. And I don't think grunge had anything to do with it. But in doing the very fun research, there's a lot of the same thing happens if you look at certain bands. Pretty much every band that everyone likes has a story that's uncomfortable when you read it. Even in the Motley Crue's book, The Dirt, they mention, they're like, I think we raped somebody. Like, that's not cool, but boys will be boys.
Yeah. Well, Dizzle kicked in $10 already, Jason. You got to put the nuts.
I can't do that.
You got to put the nuts on stream.
I can't. I'm not wearing comfortable pants. I'm just wearing like. Can you see this? Can you see? If I do this. No.
Is that a mushroom? Is that a mushroom?
I'm wearing underwear today. I did go on a first date recently with no underwear on.
That's how one should always go on a first date. Hello.
Fuck yeah, that's why I love you.
Undergarments. Come on, dude. Let's grow up. I haven't worn those since I was like 10.
Someone said Michael K. Williams was hella ashy in the room.
Yeah. I mean, Dolomite and Michael K. Williams' defense, everybody in the road was ashy, including all the white people.
But that motherfucker, that was like the saddest shit. See that ashy Negro just crying.
Bro, that entire movie, I read the book and was like, I can never watch this movie. And like, I was deployed and we got like a bootleg copy of it. And we watched it and I was just like, oh God, I feel even worse than I did after reading the book.
It's a dark, to me, it's kind of a dark film. It's one of those movies where once was enough.
Yeah. You know, like I have no intention of ever watching it again. You know, like.
Yeah, I don't want to see it again. I did look. I almost sent this to you, but I don't know how into like we'll use hair metal as the moniker, but I don't think
I like hair metal. I'm not gonna lie.
There's a new documentary series out, and they aired the first episode on YouTube, and I watched it, and I was upset about it because I think the way these things always look back is through this kind of almost magical lens of nostalgia. And historical relevance be damned. And so I was like, I'm going to write this. And I was just bitching to Ray Reed about it. And
I'm sure Touré was like, oh my God, again with the music, Jason. Jesus.
we that's our thing. That's how we bonded, was over our love of certain guitar virtuosos. I left him a 12-minute message. I left him a 12-minute voice message.
I would have killed you. If you're going to voice message me, you got 3 minutes and then I'm tuning you out. And it's not out of being like disrespectful, but my attention span with voice messages is like super short. I'm like, if I can't like, oh, Jason sent me a voice message, I got to go piss. I'm going to put it down. I'm going to hit play. And if you're still going after I'm done pissing, at that point, I'm like, he's just going to have to tell me like on Wednesday, or he can text it to me, You
know what Touré and his wife used to do? They used to call me up when they were making long drives. And they would say, Jason, can you give us a live podcast and complain about something?
Jason's like, sure, man. We're gonna like do comedy here. Give me a topic. Give me
any topic.
Okay, I got it.
Like, isn't there something you're mad about? Nah, there's always something I'm mad about. Oh, here's something funny on a side note. I'll say this out loud on the main show because I still can't believe this happened. I won't say the actor's name, but every so often we get contacted by PR companies, and there's a few PR companies. We've had some big guests, right? The biggest publishing PR company were in their Rolodex. And we got to have Tom Worman on the show, the guy that produced all those 80s records, Blue Oyster Cult. I think he did the 3 Motley Crue records. He did Shout at the Devil, Theater of Pain, and I think Girls. He did the LA Gun stuff.
Yeah.
I think he did Doc and like all that. He discovered Kiss. Like this guy is like a big time dude. Wrote a memoir, and they're like, "Would you guys like to have Tom Worman on your show?" I'm like, "Yep." Yes. Any more people you want to throw my way? I don't give a shit. And there's another publicist that sends us, definitely more left leaning stuff. Some publicists send us porn stars.
You bring one of those on, I want in on this.
I'll just let you host the show. We have Mac night. Yeah.
Alexis, Texas. So what was it like taking 2 dicks in the butthole at the same time?
They're all about, dude. They're like motivational speakers and shit.
Dude, it's nuts.
That's because you get when it comes. Oh, Jesus Christ.
We coming for you, nigga.
We coming on you, nigga.
Yeah.
It's everywhere. Why? when the emails come to my inbox, it's always a list of the things that they've written and the movies that they've been in. Then we get this one publicist that sends us all these people that would be horrible for the show, but if I was a really shitty person, I would book them all the time.
What Jason's saying is Andrew Tate's PR guy reached out.
Oh yeah, like that kind of stuff. Like totally, like so and so wrote a book. I got this long ass thing about this guy that wrote an anti-Marxist book, and he's so anti-socialism, and he wrote a book on why the free market is the only way to do anything. And I was like, I just don't want to have that kind of show because I don't want to have to prepare for this guy. And actually,
and on top of that, dude, like have had this conversation. We don't know anybody a debate. We don't know anybody shit.
Thank you.
Hey, listen, Anal Ring Toss 7 was my favorite of the 10 of them. Okay, like that one was perfectly shot, great lighting, superb cinematography, like. And you could tell the actors were really just embracing their parts, in more ways than one.
Dude, I've trust me, it's been one of those things where I'm like, Toussaint, please. And just the no from her is like, usually she giggles and goes, no, it's no. No. And Pascal's the same way. It's not a giggling no. It's a no.
Yeah.
And don't do this on your own.
Yeah, it's good that there's some voices of reason there. It's always good to have a balance, someone to balance you out a little bit,
But
to rein in those maybe urges that you have, to bring on total twat waffles to shill their shitty book. Or
motivational shit. I get hit up by so many, and these is like, oh God. Anyway, I got an email and it said, "Hey, this is Revolution Crew." Sometimes I'll say Jason.
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh wow, you care." And it said, "Hey, this is Revolution Crew. Would you guys like to interview this actor?" I forget his name. And I was like, "Oh, I recognize this guy. He was in this movie that me and Pascal hated."
It was Kevin Sorbo.
No, it's a black dude. He's actually a really good actor, and he's on an Amazon series now. And they're like, he's heading into the second series of his Amazon show. And we'd love to bring him on. This is Revolution. And my first instinct is to always reply, "I know we're ranked on Apple, but have you heard the show?"
Yeah.
Like you should listen first. So I don't say that. I go, and I called Pascal. We had to talk about some show stuff. And I said, "Hey, by the way, remember that movie that we hated?" And he goes, "Oh God, yeah." And I was like, "Remember the guy that played that character?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, that guy." I was like, "His publicist wants him on the show." He goes, "Book it. It sounds like fun." And I was like, "Dude, let's do that." I was like, "Do you know how crazy that'd be if we got more actors on this show?"
Oh, dude. I'm just waiting for like Keanu Reeves to enter.
Oh, I would love Keanu Reeves on this.
Right?
That'd be so much fun.
Like, I would only ask him one negative question.
What is that?
Well, one of his trainers for John Wick was this notorious cop from California, and she was a firearms instructor for, I think, LAPD. He didn't like wear like LAPD shirts or anything. He just kind of like was like, man, you know, she was like taught me everything I know about like transitioning weapons. Da 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 da. I would just be like, how the fuck did she get that job? Considering she had been suspended like 4 times for like excessive force. And it's just a hardcore trumper.
You know what's funny about that? And I'm not saying this in defense of Keanu Reeves or any actor. I'm just saying this is kind of a surprising statement that was made to me by someone that worked in Hollywood. A lot of the guys from the Rodney King trial just went to Hollywood, and a lot of cops go to Hollywood.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
And I think when you're at a certain level of fame, you're kind of disconnected from certain news. Not to say people didn't know, right? That was massive riots. Of course, you knew who he was, but knowing who the cops are, I feel very comfortable that most people probably couldn't point those cops out in the lineup today.
Yeah, and let's face it, Keanu Reeves seems blissfully oblivious, and I love that.
Right? Yeah.
Right? He just seems like a great stand-up dude. How long's he been in Hollywood, and you've never heard anything negative about him?
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
it's like the nastiest thing you could say about Keanu is you dated Winona Ryder. Like, and
you don't like Winona Ryder?
I mean, I love Winona Ryder, but she's one of those girls, like, to this day, I still have women, I should say, that I still have a crush on.
Oh my God. You see the picture of her? You see the video of her with the milk?
Yeah, but dude, I'm telling you right now, that's like a one-night thing. You don't let her stick around after that.
What are you talking about? That's dude, Mrs. Miles.
You know she's batshit crazy.
That's my problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
MacArthur.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Mm-hmm. We know.
Oh, dude, if Winona Ryder is what, like 50 something?
Yeah, probably.
I still think she's what do young people say? Smoke show. She's a smoke show.
She's an absolute smoke show.
If Winona Ryder and I were in the same place and I got to flirt with Winona Ryder and I got to ask Winona Ryder out, I'm totally.
Dude, Jason's walking around at full mast.
Oh my
the
God.
entire evening.
You couldn't tell me shit. We can go on the red carpet and be like, here's Winona's useless fucking podcaster husband. I'm like, yup.
And look, I'm holding her purse too.
Yup. I'm Federlining the shit out of this.
Yeah. You'll just have to do it.
Federlining the shit out of this.
Do it better. You're like, you know what? I learned from Kevin, and I'm not going to make the same mistakes he did. Okay. I know when to keep my mouth shut. I'm not trying to be famous.
I actually know a dude that grew up with Kevin Federline in Fresno. And says that dude is like the homie.
I'm sorry. He in the words of the youth as well, he fumbled the bag. So
he fumbled the bag. He was like, oh,
yep.
15 banana cream pies.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But we actually have to talk about sports, and I know you had a whole intro written out, but something's been bugging me since last week, and I think we should jump off with this.
Okay.
We talked about the Browns possibly making the worst trade in NFL history.
Yes.
I'm amending that. The worst trade in NFL history was the Panthers-Bears trade. That put Bryce Young in Carolina, CJ Stroud in Houston, and gave the Bears not 1, not 2, but 3 starters. And they still get Carolina's second-round pick next year.
Okay, let's read this intro because what you just said, I think, works directly with this intro.
Okay. Sorry, everybody. I didn't read it. I was very busy at work today, and I wanted to get all my work done so I can get here on time. Because yesterday, Jason, I didn't get off work till 8:45. I clock out at 5 o'clock typically.
Oh, so I sent that kind of late yesterday. Don't worry. Hey. I think you're gonna dig this. This past NFL weekend reminded us that flashes of brilliance in a preseason game from highly touted rookies often don't translate into regular season success, at least not right away. Transitioning to the NFL isn't simply about individual talent. It's a process that requires time, adaptation to complex systems, and team cohesion. But in a league where players are commodified and thrown into media narratives driven by a capitalist sports industry, these athletes are often set up for failure. Take Caleb Williams, the #1 overall pick. His potential is undeniable. But the Bears were never just one player away from being a contender. They're a franchise that has long been defined as a defensive legacy, not its quarterbacks. Cutting ties with Justin Fields too early in their desperate search for a savior quarterback reflects a broader problem: the NFL's obsession with immediate results and marketability over long term team building. This commodification is part of a larger issue in sports today. In the post Moneyball era, franchises often treat players like marketable assets rather than focusing on sustainable success. The media plays a crucial role in this constructing simplified binary narratives of failure or success to feed a 24-hour sports cycle largely driven by gambling interests. When an athlete struggles, like Sam Darnold did with the Jets, they're labeled a bust without recognizing the systemic failures that contributed to their struggles. Now, Darnold is proving his potential in Minnesota, throwing a beautiful 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson, showing that what he can do when provided with a functional system and offensive weapons. The media and the sports industry rely on these narratives, particularly when it comes to quarterbacks. Figures like Brock Purdy, who wasn't highly touted coming out of college, face constant skepticism even when they succeed. Their talent is questioned, not because of their play, but because they don't fit into the hyper commercialized mold of what a quote star quarterback should look like. We need to start asking bigger questions. Are players like CJ Stroud thriving solely because of their talent, or do they benefit from better organizational structures than their peers? How much of the success and failure we assign to individual players is actually rooted in the deeper systemic issues within the capitalist machine of modern sports? Why are young quarterbacks given all the blame while the broader economic and management failures of their teams go unchecked? We'll discuss this and more. So, Mac,
Yes.
to your point about that trade, Caleb Williams has looked to some people rather pedestrian because I think comparisons are the worst thing ever in sports because whatever is the hot thing, you compare it to that. So Caleb Williams
Yep.
in USC was getting a lot of Patrick Mahomes comparisons. I don't think their games are similar at all because Caleb Williams has unbelievable pocket composure.
Yep.
That kid does not run from a crowded pocket. And he's only, what, 6'2"?
Yeah. And I mean, they might be a little generous with that too. You know, they always like to inflate the heights of quarterbacks. I mean, that's the thing. The Bears knew we're going to draft Williams #1 overall. He's got DJ Moore. They surrounded himself with some skill position talent. But even then, like they knew we are going to have to play stout defense. And for a coaching staff, you know, like Matt Eberflus, I don't know how that guy made it to year 3, if we're being honest, right? Like he hasn't shown he's got really any coaching chops. So like, I guess, I mean, I would honestly say the Bears front office knew stout defense. We'll get some skill players for Williams. We'll essentially do what we didn't do for Justin Fields, you know? But they made the decision that, you know, they're going to run the ball. They'll kind of truncate the playbook a bit. We'll wait for Caleb to get acclimated, and then he's going to have Caleb Williams games, which, I mean, we're going into week 3, man. Like, we can't expect Caleb Williams to be a world beater now. You know, like we talked about last week, you know, Caleb Williams was always the best athlete on the field. He's not anymore, you know, like, and it's not a knock against him. There's a reason, you know, there's only so many professional, you know, NFL jobs out there. You've got to be the best of the best to get it, you know, to get there. And maybe you're not a guy, you know, maybe you're a guy like Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, you know, who maybe he is a system quarterback, maybe. But I think Purdy, since he's kind of taken the reins in his hands as the starter for the Niners, has shown he's a top tier quarterback. And a lot of people like give me shit about that because they're like, well, look at the weapons on his team. Yeah, you have to be a good quarterback, one, to balance those egos. Make sure Debo gets his touches. Make sure Ayuk gets his touches. Make sure Christian McCaffrey gets his touches. Make sure Kittle gets his touches, right? And to do that without, you never hear a peep about touches in San Francisco. You hear a peep from players about, hey man, the front office is lowballing me again. You're like, that's what you're hearing about. You're not hearing people bitch about Brock Purdy getting the ball. So you've got to be a good quarterback to do that. And there's a reason he's going to parlay these last few seasons into a monster fucking deal.
Monster deal.
Monster
deal. Yeah.
But like the thing is, it's like Bryce Young didn't fit any physical mold for quarterback. And we're not just talking like the old Drew Bledsoe, like he's 6'6", 250. He's just a monolith in the pocket. He can sit there and take the beating because he can't move, but he throws an 80-yard ball, right? It's not like that anymore. But even then, Bryce Young looks tiny compared to Lamar Jackson, who is not a big man himself, right? So, yeah, he got fucked getting drafted by the organization that is Carolina. Carolina and the New York Giants are probably two of the most grabastic organizations in the NFL, and that's saying something, right? But I heard someone argue, I think it was Dan Orlovsky on ESPN, that said that if Peyton got drafted by these Panthers or Mahomes or Tom Brady, their careers wouldn't have went anywhere as well. And I'm like, I don't think so, man. You got to think, Peyton Manning went to a shit Colts team.
3-13, led the league in interceptions.
Yeah. And he thrived year two. Mahomes walked into a great situation. You can't say that he didn't. Like he had a phenomenal run game at the time. He was learning a little bit from Alex Smith, and he's got Andy Reid as his head coach, right? Like that's a great situation to go into. But, I think, Mahomes would have had the talent to be successful anywhere. But like, I just never thought Bryce Young had it,
This is our good friend, oh god, what is his name, the quarterback that went to SC, and he's like the best sports announcer guy now.
Matt Leinart?
No, he played like a part of a season. He transferred to Pitt and then he was done. Max Brown.
Okay, yeah.
Max Brown had an interesting video, and he talked about Sam Darnold because Sam Darnold was his backup when he was at SC. And he kept saying, hey, Sam Darnold is a beast. I'm telling you guys, Sam Darnold he works real hard. He has the arm. He has all the ability. He's got quicker feet than you think. And Sam Darnold showed in that game against San Francisco. And I think this is a big year for Sam Darnold and Minnesota, a team that is always not quite there. And it's always the quarterback position, right? And it's always these cast-off quarterbacks they get, right? Kirk Cousins. Who was the guy they had? He must say Kevin Kolb. It wasn't Kevin Kolb. Who was it that threw that big pass to Diggs and they won that game in the last second, that playoff game?
Oh, Jesus, man.
You know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through the roster of Vikings QBs.
Just another journeyman, right?
Yeah.
Darnold playing well and actually looking like, oh, this guy looks like somebody you would have drafted in the first round. And remember, he's not that old. He's what, 26?
26, yes, 27, yeah.
Yeah.
But
so
I mean,
and didn't have big time injuries.
No,
so,
but he does have the mannerisms of a 52-year-old. So
Case Keenum, thank you. Case Keenum
was Case, yeah.
Another journeyman guy. So they finally have a guy that actually has first round talent, and you're dealing the ball out to a lot of first round talent as far as your receivers and your running backs. And you have a really good defense. So, and you have the benefit of the Packers starting QB being down for a little bit. So you might sneak up on the Lions. Maybe you make a wild card, but wow, what a story that would be. Same thing for Jared Goff. How do you go from taking a team to the Super Bowl and having a MVP-like season in LA And LA's only been to 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Wait, no, 3. 79, the one they lost to the Patriots, and the one where they beat the Bengals.
Yes.
No, the LA Rams. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Rams been to 5 because then
Okay.
they St. Louis won against the Titans and St. Louis lost against the Patriots.
Yep.
But the LA Rams, the St. Louis Pats, I don't know who they are. But
listen, let's not. We have to pour a little bit out for St. Louis because they've lost not one but 2 NFL teams.
You right? Yeah, that's the
Right.
Cardinals. That's
that's
the Cardinals Super Bowl win.
You
Just give
know,
it to the Cardinals.
Yeah,
dude.
like you gotta think. Although if I'm the city of St. Louis and I'm looking at, hey man, the Cardinals want to move here, I'm already going, ooh, I don't know, man, because they left Cleveland to go to Chicago and Chicago to St. Louis and then St. Louis to Arizona.
Exactly. Just B markets. Like, is there another B market we can exploit?
Yeah, it's just.
But what I'm getting at is Sam and Jared Goff, who after that Super Bowl season, I don't think they even finished 500. Todd Gurley gets hurt.
Yeah.
He's not the same player. People say that Jared Goff can't do it. That he has the term system quarterback. And if you look at if you really want to go, okay, well, so and so's a system guy. Every quarterback that I love is a system guy, and the one guy that isn't is a dude that's been a journeyman that's bounced around and it's played in 15 different systems. What's the guy that wore that chains that oh god, the white quarterback that finally retired with the big beard? He's like my age.
Oh, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Ryan Fitzpatrick is one. You could say he's not a system quarterback, right? Because he's played in 100 different systems.
Dude, you could say he is the system quarterback because he knows every system.
He knows every NFL system.
Yeah.
Geno Smith is a guy that was a cast off. He was supposed to be a loser. There's starting quarterbacks in the NFL in Tampa Bay. I can't think of his name.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield was supposed to be a bust. So first of all, we give the label bust out because we really love giving the label bust out. It's just fun to be mean. The internet has taken radio snark and turned it up. And I think because it's turned it up because of this function that radio didn't have.
Yeah.
The internet gives all of us the ability to be personal pundits.
Yeah. And like when I say I don't think, Bryce Young didn't have it, it's not calling him a bust. I just don't think he had what it takes to be in the NFL. You got to think your offensive line is going to suck ass, and you pick literally one of the smallest quarterbacks I've ever seen. He's going to take a beating. He looks very lost out there. Yeah. I don't know if you've watched any Carolina football, but he looks just okay. He looks lost. And do you remember in 2002 by week 9 that David Carr just looked so gun shy that a defensive end would beat his man and Carr would just immediately start going to the ground? Like
the beating that someone like David Carr took when you look at the numbers of sacks that he had in his first 2 or 3 seasons in the NFL, and you think about when you get drafted first overall, and he went to an expansion team at the time.
Yeah.
You're going to take those kinds of lumps.
And remember, the Texans, with their first pick in the expansion draft, took Tony Baselli from Jacksonville, and he never suited up because of the continuous knee injuries. But it's just like he played with the best athletes in the country in Alabama, right? He was throwing to some first round picks. He had road graders in front of him. He had all the time in the world, right? To throw the ball. But, this is a kid that because he played with so many phenomenal players, guys that are in the league now, he didn't have to make multiple reads. Like he had a guy that could just beat his man, and just toss the ball up. Yeah. He's gonna get yards. It's not like that in the NFL. You have to be able to make multiple reads and move in the pocket and buy yourself a little time, especially when you know that your offensive line is what we in the biz call ass, which is what Carolina's entire team is at this point. I questioned it when it happened. Why wouldn't you go CJ Stroud, who might be the most pro-ready quarterback since Manning?
I don't know if CJ Stroud could win on that team because, again, I think CJ Stroud has a lot of things going for him that Bryce doesn't have.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
he's got a young coach that's
Yes.
extremely energetic.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Carolina brought in Dave Canales, who's a phenomenal, he's a younger dude, phenomenal coach. But they have to kind of do what, Coach Ryan did in Houston, which is get everybody buy-in to the new culture of the team. Let's get out there. Let's have fun. And let's let these young kids play. And that's exactly what happened. And then they fucked around, won the AFC South, and went to the playoffs, But the thing is CJ Stroud also played with phenomenal athletes and also played behind an amazing offensive line. It's just Stroud, you saw him make reads on you could watch it happen. He didn't always just try and go for the deep pass. If he knew he needed 8 yards for first down, he'd dump it out to Cade Stover, which remarkably has become one of his favorite receivers in Houston because Houston picked him up in the 3rd round this year, the tight end. But it's just Stroud was pro ready. And I think maybe that had a lot to do with just, him playing in the offense he played in high school, Ryan Day kind of adjusting the offense for him in Columbus because, Ohio State's game is usually pretty heavily predicated off RPOs, and that's not CJ. He doesn't run. He
Not unless he has to.
Yeah, he made amazing passes out of the pocket, and I love CJ. But
CJ Stroud, can we both admit that the CJ Stroud is an anomaly? There's these anomalies that happen.
Dude, absolutely. He's the exception and not the rule.
Where the guys are just that good and the play around them, the scheme for them just works.
Yeah.
Can it work forever? I don't know. We'll find out this season, right? 2nd year. Do people quote unquote figure him out? Does the league get tougher? I don't know. But when I see a guy like Bryce Young, and when I watched some of that game, what made me sad, like actually physically sad watching that game, was that I saw a young man that's just defeated. And you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of Vince Young in that 2nd season for the Titans.
Yeah, you could tell his body language. He's just, it looks like he's done. Like he just like
it's hard. He exists on a different plane. He's 22. He can't look me in the eye and go, I don't look at the internet. I don't read the comments. Bullshit. Oh, yeah. You are a child of the internet. Mm-hmm. You grew up with an iPad in your hand. All you do is look at a phone. Yeah. So I'm sure you're alerted every time somebody says you throw like a bitch. Every time some sportscaster says you fucking suck. Every time someone says you're a bust because you've played, I don't know, 18 fucking NFL games.
19 games.
19 NFL games, you're a piece of shit. I feel very comfortable that you are alert that we're talking about your ass right now. So
he's got Google Alerts set up, Jason. So whenever says his name, his phone just like bing.
Yeah, it's just a constant pinging of fuck you.
Yeah.
That I don't get a third of that. And people telling me to fuck off wears on me.
Yeah.
So I know it wears on this young man who doesn't know how to distance himself from this level of comment. Again, Vince Young was ready to pull a bullet in his head over Merrill Hodge, who just wouldn't lay off his case.
Well, these guys. Let's be honest. We know why Merrill Hodge didn't like him. Okay, we know why.
You think it's because he was colored?
It's because he was racist. Okay, Merrill Hodge is a fucking piece of shit. A 100% fucking piece of shit. He can lick my balls.
Oh,
God, I've never liked him. I've always thought he was a fucking boring dude on TV when I want to be entertained, like for NFL games, right? And it's like, oh, you want to talk about how the running back position, bitch. You were a backup the entire time. Shut the fuck up.
He hit 1,000 yards one of those seasons in Pittsburgh.
Dude, it's not that hard when Pittsburgh only threw 6 passes a game at that time. Okay.
Damn, Merrill, this is for you.
We
Yeah.
coming for you, nigga.
And that's all Mac.
You fucking weak neck bitch.
Weak neck bitch. I know someone says, do you think Canellis believed in Bryce Young? I think in the day and age of job interviews and like consultant, like these football teams being run like consultant agencies, I think people know what to say to get the job and to go, I have a 2-year plan. And if we can't get Bryce on board, then, we'll probably be picking high in the draft. And there's a guy I got my eye on. I was part of the recruiting process when he was in blah, blah, blah. And then, and then you get your guy in.
See, the sad thing is he plays for the Carolina Panthers, and their owner, Dave Tepper, is not what you would call a patient man. I hate to see what happens to Young after this season, because I can see Tepper start shopping him quicker than shit. And the thing is, like you said, he's 22 years old. He's not shot, but you might have to adjust your expectations on what you can get from him. Like he got drafted number 1 overall. And when you have that kind of expectation on you, you're supposed to be a shot in the arm for an organization that really needs it, and you're not it. My buddy called it the Ryan Leaf syndrome, except that, Bryce Young's not all hopped up on painkillers and assaulting journalists, which I appreciate,
Bryce Young,
doing it.
From all the things I've heard, is one of those hardworking people. He's got his nose in a playbook. He tries to be a team leader.
Yeah.
I think that it's hard when you're 22 and there's a few 30-some-year-olds on that team and you're trying to rally people around and they're like, dude, we're not fucking listening to you, kid.
Yeah, especially when you go to an organization that's so like downtrodden at this point. Like failure's kind of embedded in the Carolina Panthers. It's hard, and especially when you're coming from college and it's like more of a rah-rah thing.
Yeah.
And now it's you're in the NFL and it's not like that. You just got to be able to put foot in ass and get people moving.
Well, that's the problem with this idea, that kind of back to what we're saying in the introduction, that you have to get the shiny toy. And I think these quarterbacks coming out of schools like Alabama are shiny toys. It's not like Alabama has a history of putting out great quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the Saban years, who'd you have? Like
AJ McCarron.
I think he had a year of Greg McElroy.
Good call. I forgot about McElroy.
You had Jalen Hurts, who really exploded once he transferred.
Yeah. Tua, sadly, the concussion man.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm keeping my fingers crossed I see a retirement from him by the end of the year, because I was watching that game and I texted Jason. I'm like, dude, he dove head first for first down and his head hit like shoulder, then thigh, then ground. And he was doing like, dude, Jason, he was posing like he was knocked out so bad. And I was like, dude, that's the third one we've seen on national television. Like, I don't know much more that he should be willing to take at the detriment of his own like life. Like
it's sad. Again, I think I was talking to somebody about this and they had vehemently disagreed with me, and I was trying to really get this into their head, and they had vehemently disagreed. And I was like, it's hard because his entire life, he goes, I get it. Yeah. His entire life has been football, but he signed this contract. He's got all this money. I was like, forget about the money for a second.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about money, you're forgetting about taxes, you're forgetting about family, you're forgetting about all the things that go into being a person that has a lot of money. So you don't know what he's taking care of. You don't know what his payroll looks like, right? So let's just take that out of the equation. Number two, I don't that sports is the only industry, and music does this too, or entertainment, I should say, is the only industry where you don't get to say when it's your time to go.
Yeah.
And if you're the best plumber in your town, you can plumb for a very long time. And generally, if you don't get a house crushing you, you can plumb until you go, you know what? I've saved up enough money. I'm a union plumber. I have a pension, and I'm hitting my moment where I'm fully vested, and I'm out. I'm done. There's so many jobs like that.
Yeah.
You can't do that in entertainment because you can be, and it takes years. It took years for Tua to get to the point where, hey, maybe you're going to go to the NFL. Oh my God, maybe you're going to be a first round draft pick. Remember, this bus talk, that was him.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago, Tua's trash. He didn't go to a Super Bowl in the first 5 seconds of walking into the NFL, so he's a piece of poo. He goes from being a bust to being an MVP candidate. Now he's got all this head trauma to deal with. And now people are going, and the narrative around him constantly is going to be, are you going to retire? Yeah. Everything about him has to say, I don't know what to do next. And people go, well, you have money. You can figure it out. That's not how life works.
Yeah.
It's just not. We can all joke about how much we're going to do. But if you didn't have anything to do and you're comfortable with certain vices, it's not like you turn that shit down because you have money and you're responsible.
Yep.
Why do you think so many of these guys drink themselves to death, drug themselves to death, or just kill themselves?
Yeah.
It is sad to see a 20-some-year-old person have to say, I got to figure something out. It's not like he went to class at the University of Alabama. That's not what he was there for.
Pulling the Cardale Jones. I didn't come here to major in, whatever.
Yeah.
I came here to play football.
He came to Alabama to play football. I'm not saying he's dumb and can't read.
Now, the ironic thing is, Cardale Jones went back to Ohio State and got his degree.
Because he's not stupid.
And he's like, bro, when I was 20, I was just popping off at the mouth. And I was just like, man, I'm gonna go league, and I'm gonna make $1 million and blah 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 blah. And then he didn't. I mean, he played in XFL 2.0, and then after that, he was like, yeah, man, I saved up my money, I finished my degree, I'm gonna get a job. And it's just like, Cardale, well done, sir. Right? Well done.
Because when you look, everybody tells you to save your money. Everybody tells you got to do this, you got to save, you got to do this, you got to do this. You know how many people I've met that hit especially in the music industry that hit, legit hit, star, platinum plaques, and the next album is like, nah, we're not feeling it.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you owe us $2 million. You know who David Coverdale is?
Yeah.
Is it Whitesnake?
Mm-hmm. By
the time he met Tawny Katane, when that album came out, he was in debt $2 million
Jesus Christ,
to Geffen Records. By the time my favorite band, Megadeth, finally made it to playing arenas, they were in debt not only to their label, but also to the federal government.
God damn.
To almost a 7-figure sum. It takes a long time to get to a certain point where you have officially broke even. When you talk to a band like Metallica, they'll tell you, hey, we may have been without money until we went on tour with Ozzy, and that's when we actually started making money, and that's 4 or 5 years into a career.
Well, I mean, Cleveland rocks. Why not just get rid of college football and have a real minor league? It'll never happen. It'll never fucking happen. And here's the why. Because the United States, back at the turn of the 19th century, decided that having club sports wasn't a real thing. We should attach it at a university level. And it's an American tradition at this point. Because if you look at what club teams started as in Europe and even in Africa, club teams became the professional football and rugby, clubs that we know now. But they started out as club teams. but we didn't. We attached everything to a university. And now it's so ingrained in Americana that we will never be able to do that. That's why when you look at Dwayne Johnson, the artist formerly known as The Rock, he doesn't refer to the UFL as a minor league, right? And he never will, because he knows that when other iterations of spring football came forward and said, we would like to be a feeder system for the NFL, what ultimately happened to them? They failed. And he actually wants to make this a sustainable product. I think he's got some stumbling blocks in front of him as far as markets go, but I mean, this is the most sustainable spring league we've had since USFL 1.0.
When I was watching the Bryce Young highlights, first thing I thought was, this is why Mac is so right on about a minor league for the NFL. Because if Bryce Young had the opportunity to go to a minor league, I still think he could be a first-round draft pick. But for you to be like, you know what? But let's let you play at a different level, where everybody's really fast, and maybe you don't have the greatest team assembled, and maybe you don't stockpile talent. Another thing about college football that is very different from the next level, was it 90 some players you keep or 100 players you keep on a team? So you just stockpile talent, and if you have the money to pay people, that's your strategy. And that's been the strategy in college football for time immemorial. If we can stockpile all the talent, that means that talent can't play against us, even if talent never plays on our team. That's why these coaches hate the transfer portal.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. Coaches like Saban and even Urban Meyer to an extent, right? Like all the old school, very successful head coaches, they would go to a recruit and be like, listen, your first 2 years, you will barely see the field. But your junior and senior year, you're going to get one of these, and just slides like a national title ring across the table. And kids jumped at it, right? Because I could be a special teams guy, cut my teeth, learn the system. Junior year, I'm a starter, right? And you pack that team with 4 and 5 stars, who want to play for national titles and SEC titles and shit like that, right? Now, it's different. Kids, especially your 4 and 5 stars, expect to play now, right? Because they know if I am recognizable, I could get that, that NIL money. And I have no issue with that. Like, if a kid's good enough to play day one, he's going to, look at Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State's next phenom wideout. He was ready to play college football, and he did day one. And I love the transfer portal, because I think that, kids should have the ability to put themselves in a situation that's going to benefit them.
Did I send you Max Brown's clip about that?
No,
because I think he played right before there was a portal, or maybe he played right around the time they started doing it.
Yeah.
And he had mentioned that one of his coaches was like, because he does announcing now. I forget for what league he was, for the Pac-12, and I was with another league. But one of the things he said was, don't always leave for the greener grass. Or one of his coaches said, don't always leave for the greener grass. Stay here until opportunity presents itself to you. And you look at DJ Ugalele,
yeah.
Ugalele. Had he stayed at Oregon State, I think he's going to be one of the first quarterbacks taken in the draft. He goes to Florida State.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't. The DJ that you see in Florida State is the same guy from Clemson, and he was also the same guy in Oregon State. It's just Oregon State under Justin Smith, who left for the Michigan State job after last season. He was able to mask the things DJ did not do well with a phenomenal running game.
Running game.
And that's why Oregon State kind of surprised people last year. But the thing is, you got to look at it from the point of view of a dude who really wants to make it to the league. I don't think DJ is going to make it. He could go to Canada or play in the UFL and kind of have a pro career, but he's not an NFL quarterback.
He'll get drafted in late rounds.
Yeah, and the thing is, he probably won't make it out of camp. I know the NFL is in dire need of quarterback help. But DJ ain't got it. But look at it from his point of view. The conference he's playing in is collapsing as the season's progressing, right? Like, why would I stick around at a program that's going to be one of the last two schools standing, calling itself the Pac-12? You know, knowing full well that if you play the next season, you're essentially playing a Mountain West schedule. You know, so it's, I mean, stats wise, that might have helped DJ out quite
Zach
a bit.
Wilson rode that into a first round pick.
Yeah, well, remember Zach Wilson played at BYU and it was an independent.
Sure, but who was on their schedule?
Oh God, dude, nobody.
That's my point.
Yeah,
like you can ride that into being an NFL draft pick. We can go. Originally in the introduction, I wrote a big thing about Jim McMahon and this idea that Caleb Williams is a bust. The Bears, I went and thought to myself, I was like, okay,
who the fuck would say Caleb Williams a bust after 3 games? Has it been pretty? No. This is a dude that is taking his first real snaps since USC's last regular season game last year.
And he's taking a pounding in Chicago.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
You know, and the thing is, we're going into week 3. You can't even remotely say he's a bust. We haven't seen enough. Now, if you want to say that about Bryce Young, I can see that. He had a year. We figured there'd be some improvement going into year 2, and it looks like he's actually regressed. And you know, that probably is a combination of him being very successful, you know, as a high school kid, then college, and now he's just not used to losing and losing badly, or being around a bunch of stiffs. You know, I mean, I know they play in the league. I know they're professionals.
He's getting the shit kicked out of him.
Yeah.
Look, I watched Caleb play against a very good Texans team, and it still was a close game.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that CJ Stroud went up there was like, dude, you got to keep your, like, don't let these MFers make you feel bad. Like, you're gonna be good. He does things still, even though the Bears lost. He does things where you can see, okay, you're going to be very fun to watch in the future. You're going to be great. I don't feel that same way about someone like Anthony Richardson. I never really thought he was a first round talent.
They saw his arm. That's all it was.
Yeah. But I thought Jim Druckenmiller showed us that you can't just do that, or Kyle Bowler. Like, there's a long list of players who can throw from end to Jamarcus Russell. There's a long list of players that can throw the ball really far. But, you know, actually studying a playbook, understanding concepts, you know, being able to mesh with your players. And I'm not saying Anthony Richardson doesn't try to do those things, but when he said the most bulletin board bullshit in the history of bulletin board bullshit, oh, the NFL is easier than college. It's like, all right, you really asked for that one, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I'm interested to see if he makes it through the whole season, right? He didn't last year. You know, he was showing flashes of things he did down in Gainesville. But he just seems like a dude who takes a lot of unnecessary risks. And, you know, that is not conducive to being able to play 17 games, you know? So, I mean, we'll see. And I think this last year's draft class and maybe the last few, and Jason, you know, chime in on this. I think we're seeing how crippling a bad decision at quarterback is. And I'm not just saying for a couple years now. This can torpedo you for 5-6 years.
My question is, and this is what I said in the original introduction, how much of that matters in this new, I shouldn't say new, I feel like maybe I see it a little bit more in this era of consultant sports.
Yeah.
Where it's like Indianapolis is not a team I thought that would ever draft a black quarterback. It's not a Negro. There's tons of Negroes that live in Indianapolis. But it also feels like, hey, we're having some problems with the jersey sales over here. So why don't we get this colored fella at quarterback since he resembles the demographics of said area? He does the things well. He went to a big time program. We can justify this pick. We can really use our hype machine to show how great he's going to be. And he showed us some flashes of brilliance. Hey, look, we got a bump in jersey sales after he scored 2 touchdowns in preseason. This is the guy we're going to go with.
I mean, I would like to think that the greedy billionaires that own the teams wouldn't buy into that shit. Only because we've seen what happens when you have bad quarterback play. You know, it can just, again, torpedo your entire franchise, right? And you know what? DC Joe Black, I appreciate that comparison.
But here, I'll raise you this. I'll name a bunch of teams that had bad quarterback play or mediocre quarterback play that were not just Super Bowl champions, but dynasties. Washington Redskins in the 80s. The Baltimore Ravens have had quarterback play and won Super Bowls.
Yeah, with Trent Dilfer, current head coach at UAB.
Oh, that's right. He's in look. Trent Dilfer was a first round draft pick. I think he was the first overall pick the year he came out. If he wasn't, he was definitely
he was like top 5, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was a big time pick coming out of Fresno State.
Fresno just occasionally is like, hey, let's stop fucking around. We're gonna get our QB pick number 1 overall.
That's why I wanted the Pac-10 when they were talking about expansion years ago. I was like, look, if you guys pick up Fresno State, Hawaii, BYU, it could be a fun Western Conference.
Yeah.
But whatever, I don't want to go down that route. But there's teams. If you start, the Chicago Bears were consistently a really good team. If you look at the McMahon years, I don't know how many full seasons he played while he was in Chicago as a starter, because he came in the league during a strike shortened season. The next year he played, I think he did get hurt. And then the third year, I think they lose to the Niners in the NFC Championship. Fourth year, he wins the Super Bowl. Definitely the year after he got hurt. McMahon stayed hurt a lot.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, when you decide, I mean, let's just talk about the weird dichotomy that is Jim McMahon really quick. Goes to fucking BYU.
Yeah.
And is an absolute coke fiend even in college.
Sure.
Right? Funny, in my opinion, where, you'll get written up for drinking Dr. Pepper. But after hearing what Mormon women do, I'm not surprised. Swinging, some other weird stuff. Okay, Dr. Pepper, that's the devil's work. Okay. All right, cool. Then he gets to Chicago, right? He leaves fucking Provo, Utah, goes to Chicago, right? He's in the third biggest city in America at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, man, I am hopped up on blow. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna be the best quarterback for him. Oh, now I'm hurt. Now I need blow and painkillers.
But by the way, he's from California. He went to BYU because they were putting out crazy quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Forget the guy's first name. Bosco was his last name. Put up big numbers. Mark Wilson actually is who McMahon backed up, and then Wilson got hurt, and then McMahon played and broke a bunch of records, and Wilson broke a bunch of records. Ty Detmer later went there, won a Heisman there.
Yep.
McMahon came in a very smart quarterback, and this kind of blew me. I was reading up about Jim McMahon a couple days ago for the show. Jim McMahon. So first of all, let's rewind a little bit. Just pull back a little bit. The Bears coach, everyone thought Buddy Ryan was going to be the coach. Buddy Ryan was not the coach. Mike Ditka became the coach. Mike Ditka was supposed to be an offensive mastermind. Mike Ditka might be one of the worst coaches in the NFL that's won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Mike Ditka was very, very anti-changing plays. And so Jim McMahon actually is one of those football minds. And he actually be like, oh, well, we should change this play because of the defense that we're seeing. And we'll change it at the line. And those are the fights that you would see happen were Jim McMahon, even when he was successful, changing the play, it was never like these new coaches now are like, hey, what did you see?
Yeah.
Right. With McMahon, no, you didn't do what I told you to do because that's the era that Ditka played.
That was the Dickens like, we ran 4 plays. 4 plays.
Right.
Dive right, sweep right, dive left, sweep left.
And when that wasn't done, he got furious at McMahon. And so that was a real oil and water situation for poor Jim McMahon. By the time Jim Harbaugh gets in about 87, 88, Jim Harbaugh gets in. I think he's a supplemental draft pick back when that was like a thing for the NFL. Same thing happens to Jim Harbaugh, another one of these football savants. He goes to play in this quarterback graveyard called Chicago under Mike Ditka, and you just can't call audibles no matter what you see in front of you. So it's real defeating for a quarterback. And they've had coaching problems over the years.
Well, I
They've
mean,
had
can
draft
you
problems
imagine
over the
Doug
years.
Flutie was on that team.
Mhm.
And Ditka said, you're too small. Get the fuck out of here. You know? And he was just like, what?
Dude,
Did you not see me play at Boston College? You know? Like,
when you see a team like the Bears, the first thing you think is defense, and everyone can rattle off all these names. And if you ask them, besides Walter Payton and Jim McMahon, name 4 offensive players from the 80s. I'll give you the whole freaking 80s Bears. Right? It's going to be really hard for a lot of people.
Yeah. But they can name you Richard Dent, Steve McMichael, Mike Singletary.
Dave Duerson.
Yeah, Duerson.
All day long. You just go down the list. Here's this was the backup defensive line for 85.
Yeah.
It's not Bears. But no one can, because the Bears offense historically hasn't been very good.
Yeah.
That's why Walter Payton is kind of this magical player that also existed in an era before players talked.
Yeah.
I feel very comfortable saying this, and this is not a slight to a man that can't defend himself. This is not a slight to Walter Payton. I think if Walter Payton played in this era and had to speak, people would shit all over him all the time because he had a very high-pitched voice.
Yeah.
Just like they did Mike Tyson. People still try to make fun of Mike Tyson.
I mean, look at the one time Tony Dorsett really said anything. They were like, why do you run so fast? And Dorsett's like, I don't like getting hit. You know, like, and
Like,
the
right?
Dallas press, including Skip Bayless, were like, he is not a real man. He does not enjoy the contact.
Why would you look? If you're Walter Payton, there's an award named after him because he's such a good person. One of my good friends went to high school with the Payton's kids. She did not like the daughter. She said the daughter was a horrible person. She said Jarrett Payton was the nicest person ever in high school. And she's like, their dad, nicest guy ever. No one had a problem with him. No one had a problem with him. But again, in the 24-hour era, and we need something to talk about, and we're going to call it, he's sweetness. Listen to that high voice.
Mm-hmm.
Again, why do you think Mike Tyson is so violent in interviews? It's because people have been making fun of him and his speech impediment since he was fucking 17.
Yeah.
Why do you think Barry Bonds hates the press? Just cuz? No. They shit on his dad. They shit on Willie Mays, who was a very close family friend, even a godfather. So why would he like the press at that point? He knows what they do. So I feel very comfortable saying that. I think if Walter Payton played in this era of 24-hour coverage, he would not be viewed as the nicest, greatest man alive, and everyone would make fun of his voice every chance they get, because also sports punditry is just filled with Jim Rome clones.
Yeah.
So how rude can you be?
Or cats like Bayless and Stephen A. Smith who don't know sports anymore and just go for the off-the-cuff comment because that's what brings eyeballs in. You know? And it's just like, dude, you know, and it's sad, man. You know, but like it's, you know, it was funny. Tom Brady came out with a quote and said that they've dumbed the game down for young quarterbacks. And I started thinking about it, right? And I'm like, bro, you split time with a guy who went on to play professional baseball before he put a helmet back on. And your entire offense was predicated on handing the ball off, right? That's not going to be that hard to learn. And, I am simplifying it just for, clarity. And your first like 3 or 4 years in New England, it was a very run heavy offense, that was complemented by the defense, so it's like, dude, let's not, sit here and shit on these young guys, right? Like, let's not do that. If you're going to bring up valid points, like about, like, again, Bryce Young's body language, or how he's just taking a beating, or he's not used to losing, or, Caleb Williams, well, maybe he needs to push the ball a little more. You got DJ Moore out there, Roma Dunze, there's some weapons around, you take some chances. If you want to say shit like that, yeah, because those are valid points. But to say that the game got dumbed down to benefit these guys, I don't buy that, man.
No.
There are some, quarterbacks, Anthony Richardson among them, that didn't have to make reads because the coaches essentially made the reads for them, and that's going to show in his development. Maybe Anthony Richardson becomes one of the best defense readers in the fucking, in the NFL. But see, well, I mean, that's the thing, Claw. Like, I am a Pats fan. I'm a diehard. But the fact of the matter is, Brady benefited greatly from a very dominant defense and a phenomenal run game by a rejuvenated Corey Dillon when he was cast off from Cincinnati, And then it wasn't until you got into like 06, 07, and that's when you saw Brady start just airing the ball out. And then, Randy Moss shows up, and they, so he had a great benefit, those first years in the league, of not having to do too much and learn the playbook and become that. Like, it got to the point where Brady can just look out there, adjust the call to, like he knew that playbook front to back. And that's what you get when you know that your job's safe. And you knew it was safe the minute they sent poor Drew Bledsoe to Buffalo, which broke my heart. Cleveland rocks. I've told this story before.
Oh, he's a old school Pats fan. Yeah. I just want to say this to the Chicago Bears fans. Hey, you've never had in your history of a franchise that you people have been around. Anyone watching this show has never been alive for a great Chicago Bears quarterback. You have right now a generational talent, Caleb Williams. Just ignore all the punditry about the bust moniker and get ready to enjoy probably some of the best football Chicago's ever seen. It's going to change the way people think about Chicago football.
Yeah, I mean, just be patient. He's going into his third game, man. Like, and on top of that, it's a big mental adjustment when you're the best athlete on the field to now where everybody's an equal. Like, you can't just toss the ball over the defensive backs from UNLV.
No, dude, look, Jaden Daniels is another person that people are kind of shitting on. Definitely, I'm a Denver Bronco fan. We could talk about Bo Nix if you like. I begrudgingly watched that game. It was like punching myself in the testicles. What it is as a sports fan, and you see CJ Stroud, and I really like watching CJ Stroud play. And I like hearing him talk. He's just such a football savant.
Dude, he's a smooth operator, man.
He's Peyton Manning. Listen to him. He's Peyton Manning. He's the same. They're just football minds. He's a savant. I think he's going to be a great quarterback. If the Texans ever win a Super Bowl, it'll definitely be with CJ at the helm.
Well, I mean, I think Houston's front office set that team up perfectly. And again, with the picks that they got from the Browns in the Watson trade, they've done very well with them. And they've, like, Tank Dell looks phenomenal as like CJ's go-to guy. Stover is going to be an option at tight end. You have Nico Collins, who's a great number 2. They get that running game going, man. It's just going to be something else. And on top of that, Coach Ryan, man, dude, Coach Ryan's is awesome. I loved him when he played. And just him, you know, they said he was honestly one of the smarter linebackers, and I'm not saying that to mean it, but like he could identify a play before the defense is even set. Like he just knew. He was able to identify markers, you know, the certain lineups. He just knew it, you know. And can you imagine having that kind of knowledge and you're going to run a team and you're able to teach that to 11 other dudes that are like, fuck, man, we could be awesome. And by we, I mean me. I'm going into a contract here. You know, like
it feels like it's working out. Look, in Green Bay is another situation that's really interesting because now you have Aaron Rodgers gone, right? And you have Jordan Love, who had a very surprising kind of second half of the season.
yeah, phenomenal
And
second half.
Malik Will, again, back to the whole so-and-so is a bust. Malik Willis got a few starts and looked extremely very Bryce Youngy. He looked very Bryce Youngy.
Yeah.
Malik Willis, 12 of 14, extremely efficient.
Yep.
Ran when he needed to, not all the time. And the Packers win.
Yeah, and see, that's what I talked about last week. If he can just if he can play smart football, lean on the running game and that defense, and keep it close, Packers go 500 while Love's out. Dude, they're still in it.
That's what's so surprising, again, to see with these people that are all cast-offs. Well, and Willis wasn't a first-round draft pick, but he was a workout warrior that coming from a small school. I think he went to Liberty.
Yeah, played in Conference USA.
People were like, oh, maybe this is going to be this. And, you know, it's going to take a minute, and no one has patience. If you can order your food to show up at your doorstep in 15 minutes, you really think you have patience for 5 years for a player to develop?
Yeah, and see, this is the thing. You have, and I've noticed with like, especially with people our age, Jason, like you have like the diehards that because they were reared in it or you got there young, you're like, I'm here, win or lose, let's go. But then you have like some of our peers that are like, you know, you look at them, you're like, you're from Detroit. And just like 2 years ago, like you didn't give a shit about the Lions. And they're like, oh yeah, man, I know. But dude, I saw you in Cowboys gear before that. Yeah, man. But you know,
but you were a diehard Steelers fan.
Yeah, you know, like what?
Yeah, like all these Lions fans now. It's like, look, it's gonna take a while. The Jared Goff thing to me is a perfect example of why you just have to let the Novocaine set in. Jared Goff's first season in Detroit did not look good, and Matthew Stafford won a Super Bowl. And everybody said, oh, looks like the Rams got the best part of that deal.
Yep.
And now you look at Jared Goff, who is much younger than Matt Stafford.
Much younger.
Who doesn't have the injury history as Matt Stafford. And is taking a team, and granted they didn't win last week.
Yeah, but you know what, dude? This is a long season.
Yeah.
And that's what I give Dan Campbell a lot of credit for. He took the blame for the loss. You know, straight up said my players were in the right positions to win, and I didn't make the right calls. But like, I think Goff getting to Detroit and linking up with Dan Campbell, a guy who had to completely rebuild Detroit, because let's face it, it was the Lions, right? Like this is a hapless organization that had some good skilled players. You know, I love, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love him. I think he's phenomenal. They have a great tight end, Jahmyr Gibbs and Montgomery, are the kind of the duo in the backfield. Like there's a lot of talent on Detroit's team, and getting Goff into that situation where he's not expected to kind of like be the face, you know, of the team, and just being able to go out and play football. I think that benefited Jared Goff.
They're one of the few like teams.
Yeah.
I don't know who is the guy in Detroit, because who's the defensive end? I can't remember the guy's name. Hutchinson?
That would be the dickhead from Michigan. I'm not going to say
it Hutchinson? Hutchinson.
Yeah.
But he had 5 sacks in that game.
Three in the first quarter.
When you look at that team, you're like, they're only getting better. They're fun to watch. I haven't seen a team play like this in a long time. The last team I can remember where everybody looked like they were having a good time and I didn't know who the star was the 03 Buccaneers.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, it's like the Rams knew we're moving to LA. We got this brand new stadium, state of the art. We've got to be able to win a Super Bowl as soon as we fucking get there,
Mm-hmm.
you know? So they essentially made, that Faustian bargain and they won, right? They got their ring. But since then, I mean, this team's been up and down.
They have the ring that no one remembers.
Yeah, Stafford, like week 1, that guy got battered. Like he was like favoring his leg, shaking his hand. Like the dude just was pummeled. But hey, Connor, that's the thing though. He could be Alex Smith. And I'll say this for Alex Smith until he got to Washington, which was just a shit show. He won. That's what counts, right? Like it's getting your team in the right positions. And I'm gonna tell you right now, Goff is a better quarterback than Alex Smith was. Alex Smith was way more mobile. People forget at Utah, the dude ran for almost 1,000 yards his senior year.
Yep.
A lot of RPOs. Who was his head coach? Urban fucking Meyer, right? But Goff puts the ball and can air it out. Like he throws a pretty pass. Like
Yes, he does.
how quarterbacks can throw pretty passes.
So accurate. God damn, that kid is accurate. If you don't like Jared Goff, there's a lot of football you don't like, because Jared Goff, to me, is fun to watch because he's so accurate.
And he's a Pac-12 quarterback, and we know Jason gets hard over Pac-12 quarterbacks.
Who's got wood? The show is back, everybody, and I have an erection. All right.
Notice you saw both hands when the thing went off because he did it with his penis.
Okay, can we tell another guy that is quote unquote back, and I had so much fun watching him in the late game Sunday, and I love this. You know why I love this young man? He looks like one of my kids. Oh. You know who I'm talking about. He looks like one of my kids. He looks so much like one of my kids. I would steal him if I could. If I could steal him, I would. Kyler Murray. When I played sports games, when I played video games, I would make this is like 04. I would make a person that would be like those proportions, because I figured my kids were never going to be that big, because I had a Filipino wife.
Yeah.
Who was 5 feet tall, or is. Yeah, my ex-wife is 5 feet. And Kyler Murray is one of the most fun quarterbacks to watch. And watching him run around and destroy the Rams with arguably one of the best first-round draft wide receivers that we've seen in a while. Bro, and that's saying a lot, because we've seen some beasts in the last.
Yeah, and you know what's sad is people were sitting there using the buzzword about Marvin Harrison Jr. after the first week because he only had, one catch for 4 yards.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
What? It's like they have to come on the field, literally and figuratively, trip the offensive line with their penis, catch a bunch of touchdowns, slap the opposing team's cheerleaders, and like, that's a real ball player. It's like, look, dude, sometimes he's not going to catch 100 balls in a game, because no one does.
I mean, the thing is Murray has been hurt, the last 2.5 years, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
And when healthy and he has weapons, he can be a very good quarterback.
My goodness.
Right? Now you give him a guy like Marvin Harrison Jr. Their tight end is phenomenal. I think what they have to do, though, is really develop a running game. They have to kind of, they got to find something, because you don't want to become a one-dimensional offense, because that puts pressure on Murray to run himself, which you don't want to expose him to another injury, because we've seen what he can do when he's on the field. That's where we want Kyler Murray, right? You don't want to put him in positions where he's going to, go out there and like, okay, I got nothing, I'm just going to take off, and then he gets blasted, and then unfortunately he ends up concussion protocol, maybe another knee injury, you just don't want that for him. So that's the Kyler Murray that we've expected. like what he did last week. And he did. He picked apart the defenses. He extended plays when he needed to. Arizona could be a lot of fun to watch, especially getting later in the season.
Arizona is going to be fun. Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. Because Marvin Harrison, I haven't seen the kid smile yet.
Oh, he's just like his dad. He doesn't.
Him and I think Kyler Murray's got a lot to prove. I think he wants to show the world, look, this Kingsbury guy is not why I was successful at the college level or the NFL level.
Yeah.
I'm just a good quarterback. Remember, Kyler Murray doesn't understand a playbook. I don't know about that, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, there are quarterbacks that have come out and said, like, I didn't read the playbook. Manziel, Russell, right?
Yeah.
And look at where they're at. You're not staying in this league if you don't read the playbook.
That's not Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
That's not Kyler Murray. Look, the kid is that good. This is an interesting football season because we're getting these redemption stories. And Geno Smith in Seattle is proving to be the real deal. Justin Fields is getting a chance to prove that Chicago cut bait too soon. Now he wasn't a world beater against Denver.
But he did the smart things, right? Because you got to think he's still learning the offense. Now, remember last 2 seasons, Fields got just ripped apart by sports pundits, right? Just ripped apart.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Orlovsky came out today and was like, even if Russell's healthy, I still roll with Justin Fields. Straight up and down. And can you imagine from Justin Fields' point of view, who always felt the hook, like he knew it was going to come soon in Chicago, knowing that a guy like Mike Tomlin has your back if he sticks with him over Russell Wilson, that's an ego boost that is going to last you the rest of the year.
He did just enough in that Broncos game. Granted, everything that could go wrong for Denver went wrong in that game. And I'm not saying that Justin Fields didn't play well. He played okay. I mean, remember, they held him to 13 points.
Yeah.
So the Denver defense did a very good job of keeping them in check. But when all you can score is 6 points, your rookie quarterback throws a very costly interception in the end zone. The coach doesn't have confidence to go for it in situations where probably he would go for it if he had a competent quarterback. Me personally, I don't know how I feel about Bo Nix, and I'll tell you why. Again, I think in this day and age of consultant ball, where we just don't have a lot of time for you, we don't have the 5-year plan anymore. And coupled with the 24-hour news cycle that just needs shit to complain about, a guy like Sean Payton is going to take a lot of lumps that he probably wouldn't have taken 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Even. And that's 15 years ago, let's say. And the Bo Nix draft pick for you and I, we always kind of looked at it with a little bit of because that wasn't Penix right there too, or did he had already gotten taken?
I think he went after.
I liked Penix a little more, even though there was more of an injury history with Penix. And we haven't seen him play, right? He's sitting behind Kirk Cousins. But with Bo Nix, I always felt like he played in one of those systems where he had a lot of time in Oregon and he had very comfortable pockets.
Yeah. I mean, and this is the thing with Bo Nix. The quarterback you saw at Auburn was running for his life. Like it wasn't a good fit there. No. He gets to Oregon, much better fit. And the offense is predicated off a quick read and getting rid of the ball quick, right? Like that's how the Oregon offense flows. And it works well, right? Like it's a great scheme. But the thing is, in the NFL, you've got to be able to diagnose your defense when you get up under center or when when you're setting up in shotgun. You've got to be able to look out and know, okay, my first read is not going to work. I have to go to read 2, right? When the ball snapped, you check your second read, because that's going to be my primary now because my number 1 reads, it's out. Okay, my number 2 read's not going to work. I have to be able to make that progression to 3 and 4, and Nix is not doing that right now. Now, a lot of that I think has to do with just him coming from that system in Oregon and trying to learn Sean Payton's playbook. And Sean Payton can coach anybody. Like, you got to think, when he got Drew Brees, Brees is considered a reclamation project because he's coming off the torn rotator cuff, which is typically almost like a kiss of death for quarterbacks. I don't know how it's so different for quarterbacks than it is for pitchers, because pitchers come back from that shit all the time. Quarterbacks you typically don't see do well afterwards. But where did Breeze make most of his damage? Did it in New Orleans, not San Diego, right? But this is the thing, and I think you hit the nail on the head with us being impatient. We see how he dominated in college, so he's obviously got to be able to do it in the NFL. No, that's not how that works. Not everybody comes to the NFL and puts up numbers their rookie year. Claw's right. You don't come into your rookie year game one on fire.
But here's the thing. I don't know if the team is going to say, Sean, we trust you for at least 3 seasons. And we trust you for 3 seasons. You're going to slowly put together a team, because we're going to be phasing players out in these 3 seasons as well.
Yeah.
Some of these older guys are going to go. Cortland Sutton's probably going to go soon. I don't know how long Surtain is going to stay on that team. And
I'm going to tell you right now, if I am the Broncos, and I know you don't want to hear this, going into the trade deadline, I'm moving Sutton. I'm moving Surtain. I'm moving anything that could get me picks. Right? And then I draft as many people as I fucking can. You fill the holes with maybe some late, OTA roster cuts going into June 1st. And then you just have the baby Broncos learning and growing together.
I wouldn't mind that. I'm all in for that. If that was the Broncos plan, I started being a Broncos fan in 1987. The Broncos coach was Dan Reeves. He was their coach until he came in before John Elway, and he was their coach until 90 something.
Yeah, he went to the Falcons in 95, wasn't it?
95, 94,
maybe
right?
90. Because in 94, Shanahan was still in.
Shanahan Shanahan came to Denver for a short time, and then he went to San Francisco to be offensive coordinator.
Yeah, yeah.
I look at the tenure of coaches many years ago. It's like unless you were really bad, like Lou Holtz or something like that. But
every Jets and Bengals head coach after 1990.
Dude, Mac, I came into watching football when Tom Landry was still the Cowboys coach. I came into football when Danny White was still there and Tony Dorsett was still playing in the league and at a high level. So, I remember the era of these long tenured coaches.
Yeah, Chuck Noll was still in Pittsburgh.
He was on his way out when I was.
Yeah, and then he gave way to Bill Cowher, who was there 17 years.
Who gave way to Mike Tomlin? That's like the one job you can stay in forever. But my point is, Bill Walsh stayed in San Francisco for a good amount of years. My point is, does a team like the Broncos, who for some reason people just want to win a Super Bowl all the time, it's like, look, we've only won 3 in a million years that we've been a franchise. So let's pump the brakes on that for a second.
Yeah.
Does a team like the Broncos look at a Sean Payton and go, we'll give you 3 years with Bo Nix? Maybe if you can convince us, we'll give you 5. We'll give you 3 years with Bo Nix to see if this is really if you can build this into something, because it's going to take a while. And sadly, I don't see it. There were plays where there were wide open receivers, and he just overthrew the shit out of them.
I mean, Bo Nix would be another one of those QBs that would benefit from having a developmental system.
Oh my God, he'd be a totally different player.
Yeah,
he'd be a totally different player.
And see, this is why NFL executives, especially in the front office, should be arguing for an actual developmental system, because you got to think, maybe the Broncos, right? Let's say the NFL did have one, like an actual true minor league, right? And we'll say that the Broncos minor league team is the Boulder Ponies, and they play a shortened season during the summer, right? And what you do is, you can have like a player cap and also maybe like a play cap. Like you can play 75% of the plays during this short, we'll say 8-game season, right? And then what you can do is, me as Sean Payton, I can send like my running backs coach down to be the head coach and implement my system. So the players are learning it down in the minors. And when they get called up, they already know it.
They're ready to go.
There is no learning curve there.
And you can implement certain positions that get injured in the like offensive linemen and cornerbacks. And look, I'm all for that system. I think it only makes sense. But you're right. Our love of free labor with college football is not going to let that happen. But when we look at these young quarterbacks, Bo Nix, Anthony Richardson, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams, they're not playing the way, for some reason, people think they should play. And I look at guys like Jaden and Anthony, and I'm like, these guys were always going to be projects. I don't know why you guys thought that they were not going to be projects.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing. Like, they're young quarterbacks, and there is a divide between collegiate systems and pro systems. And granted, pro systems have implemented spread concepts, RPO concepts. But when you come from, even at LSU, Brian Kelly runs a lot of pro style, but man, it is very RPO dependent. And that gave Daniels a lot of leeway to do what he did last year, which got him the Heisman Trophy. Hey, Virtuoso, I'll address that here in a sec. Let me finish my train of thought real quick. But the thing is, most of these teams are still using 80% spread concepts in college, right? Like the spread. And it could be the Mike Leach spread. It could be the Chris Alt kind of pistol spread. It could be any number of variants of the spread, right? The Chip Kelly spread even. But it's still the spread. And that doesn't always translate well when you get to the NFL. And that's why fans need to kind of temper their expectations for young quarterbacks and wide receivers as well. Because, in college, if you are like, let's face it, Ohio State and LSU have probably developed the best wide receivers over the last 5 to 10 years. And these guys can just like blow right past their man, get downfield, catch the big passes, rack up the yardage, rack up the catches, rack up the touchdowns. But in the NFL, bro, go ahead and try and blow by somebody. There's going to be a corner that hits you in that 5-yard box, and throws you off your game. Like that's just how it is, So those are probably the two positions with the steepest learning curves in the NFL. So it's different. Like I just think we as fans should temper our expectations when players have to do quite a bit of learning to make sure they're prepped for those NFL playbooks that are maybe 10 to 15%, spread and RPO concepts. So they're learning, there's still a big divide between pro sets and college sets. Maybe not the way it was like back when we were growing up. Cause you remember
it was very different.
Yeah.
Wishbone quarterbacks going in and
then you had whack style football. What somebody mentioned Timmy Chang, who fucking chucked at football, And
shout out to Timmy Chang.
That's right.
Shout out. He's a head coach at Hawaii.
At his alma mater. Yeah, that's Coach Chang now, Yeah, he still goes by Timmy though. It's like, bro, you're in your 40s. Come on. Tim's
that's the most Hawaiian thing ever.
Yeah. These young men, I hate calling them kids. I feel that's disrespectful, but that's what they are to me. These dudes, they face a curve their rookie year. And that's why, like, your first, honestly, 5 games, don't expect much. But when they get used to the cadence and the rhythm of the game, watch out. Guys like Caleb Williams. I think Jaden Daniels is going to be great. I think it just takes time to get acclimated to the environment, and that's what we fans don't want to hear.
Nobody, because you have to look, these guys run back on their story narrative so much because they're just in such a hurry to create drama. And sports talk is all about the soap opera. It's another reason why I hate political conversations too, right? I went on my rant a few weeks ago about the debate. I was like, I'm not watching that bullshit because it's just bullshit, right?
Yeah. And I want to hear 2 capitalists sucking off capital for fucking 2 hours.
Unless you're going to talk about it like pro wrestling, And even the world we exist in, like there's like, oh god, there's all this like podcast beef and shit. It's like, unless you're gonna be, like Sam Cedar going like, and Jimmy Dore tomorrow night at the Fuck You Dome. If you don't come down ready to go, I know that you're just a great big pussy. unless that happens, I don't give a shit about like, oh, did you hear about? No, did so and so say? And I can't think of the guy's name. I know his last name is Singh, because I don't want to say his first name wrong and sound like a racist. But he's in Parliament in Canada for their more left party.
Yeah.
And he was walking somewhere. Can I show you the clip?
Yeah, go ahead. And then we can hop back into football.
You freeze on me, you motherfucker.
I'm frozen. You were frozen.
Your mom.
Well, I mean, if that's what you're into, I can hook it up, man. Jason comes up from Mexico to like visit my mom, and I walk in. I'm like, Dad.
I got to show you this.
Okay,
I was so angry.
You pull it up. But I wanted to address.
I'm going to pull
Virtuoso.
it up while you be entertaining.
Yeah, Virtuoso. The NFL Europe only flopped because NFL owners were expected to kick in $5 million a piece, and it never turned a profit once the NFL purchased it. The only teams that were profitable were in Germany. And what's in Germany? Large amounts of American service members, which kind of, shared the amazingness and destructiveness of American football the way American service members did in Japan with baseball. So at a certain point, every team in NFL Europa was in Germany with the exception of one. Now, Goodell's plan, what he wants to do, believe it or not, Europe actually has an American football league. I watch the games on Twitter. They got teams in Italy and Germany. There's one in Poland, I believe. There's one in Spain, believe it or not. Virtuoso, they are the Dragons. They got permission from the NFL to use the logo. And the NFL wants to start buddying up with them to kind of help promote American football overseas. Because, the NFL is the top dog now, but they're losing ground to the NBA. It's not as... You got to think 15 years ago, soccer wasn't a threat at all, but MLS has grown leaps and bounds. They have a lot of rich investors that are buying equity into the league in MLS. So I don't think you'll see an NFL Europe again, but I can see the NFL making a big investment into. Thank you, Virtuoso, Barcelona. I apologize, but I can see them making a big investment into the European League. That's already there, which, you don't have to build any infrastructure. It's already there. They already have their own players, it would be a good idea. Now, as far as guaranteed contracts in the NFL, I think it's only a matter of time before we do see that happen. Because you got to think a lot of these big contracts now have a large amount of guaranteed money to them. And, with the CTE lawsuits, with the introduction of the Guardian Cap, players are taking much better care of themselves. They know that their career only has a certain shelf life. I think the NFLPA will push to have guaranteed contracts. And if they're not all, like the entire amount won't be guaranteed, large chunks will continue to be guaranteed. So that's certainly a win for players. But I mean, I'm under the opinion that all professional athletes should have guaranteed contracts, regardless of the sport they play. Only because, you're one injury away from never playing again. And if you're smart with your money, you could make a killing that year, and still have enough to have generational wealth, that will support your family for years to come. Yeah, man, Prester John, that's a thing. Youth football it's losing numbers to soccer and basketball now, but it's still number one. It's the most played sport in America right now. Okay, this is the clip. Oh, Jesus Christ!
Have you seen this?
No.
So Jagmeet Singh is I was afraid to say his name wrong. So someone calls him a name, and this is how this is. First of all, this is why I don't respond to people online. I try not to. Let me take it back because I lied right there. I try not to respond to people online. Because if you can't do what this dude did, then there's no reason to respond to you online.
Corrupted bastard. Want to say something? What? Want to say something? You say nothing? Who said that? You got something to say?
I didn't say corrupted bastard, but I said.
What you said?
No, I did not say that.
Who said it?
Somebody behind me said that.
Was it me? Was it you? No.
He snitched old boy out. Somebody it wasn't me over there. It might have been this, don't you know? And
hey, excuse me there, Representative. That's not what this is about.
This is about. This is not what this is about. This is about you being corrupt. And he's like, I'm sorry. Can you say it to my face, please? I want you to look right at the motherfucking turban because I'm about to beat the shit out of you. That's the last thing you're going to see is this turban. And I want to beat the fucking racist joke right the fuck out of you. When a person, because I've had women look at me like this and beat the shit out of me. And when a person looks at you like this, it's no longer a game. He doesn't give a fuck about none of the security. No. Whoever this dude is was not finna help.
Oh, that was his aide. And his aide,
the aide can't help. Look at the aide.
Yep.
He looks like his little ass tie. That's what a fucked off tie.
He's already cringing because he knows that the two Canadian, MAGA lovers are gonna get the shit kicked out of him.
Like, I'm about to beat. Look, homie, I've seen him before. I think he bulked up a little bit just to fuck this dude up. And he's looking at him like, look, man, this isn't the first time I've had an asshole say some stupid shit to me. And I'm going to take that phone. I'm going to shove it up your ass. And then I'm going to have you like a hand puppet.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do to you.
I'm going to jam my fist up your asshole and use your mouth to say, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. Singh.
Oh no, Mr. Bill.
And the aide's like, sir, you got to get your hand out of his ass. We have a meeting to get to.
I would have wore that motherfucker to the meeting. Yeah. Funny thing happened to me on the way to the meeting.
What do we say to Mr. Singh? I'm sorry. That's right, you are. Say it again. I'm so sorry.
Look, dude, this every time somebody calls you a name or you like people go, I got in a fight in a Twitter space. Don't. If you can't do this to the person calling you all kinds of pieces of shit, it's not that serious.
Yep.
Close the computer, turn off your phone. I'm sure you have a lovely family or a pet
or some great friends
outside.
You can go. Yeah.
There's all this shit you can do besides reply back with all. And this is coming from someone that has written some mean shit back to people.
Oh, dude, yeah. And see, like I used to do the same thing, man. But I'm gonna tell you right now, like I've had people like watch the documentary that I was in, and like, dude, like you're a fucking snitch and a traitor, and I turn around, I'm like, what's up? Somebody said something to you, man.
Yeah. Like, it wasn't me. It was this guy over here. This guy.
But like,
I'm just holding. I'm a citizen. I'm just holding my phone. Yeah, I'm a fuck you up later, asshole. But right now, and watch what he does, though, Mac. I'm gonna play the clip again from the beginning because you can tell who says what from this.
Mm-hmm. Corrupted bastard.
It's this guy.
Yep.
And he said it because he didn't think he was going to turn around. He's like, oh, you got the suit and the turban. He's a little bitch. Okay, I got all the little bitches you need. Damn. He hit that turnaround smooth. I'm going to take 2 steps. You know what? Hey, Jimothy, I'm about to fuck this dude up. Oh, no, Mr. Singh, hey. You can't fuck him up. What's it all about?
What? Want to say something? You say nothing?
Look how he walked. I kind of wish more congressmen would walk like this.
Oh, bro, dude, MPs that just fucking bow up to folks that want to run their mouth. Fuck yes, dude. I'm here for it.
There's a way. Hey, if you walk at somebody like that, you're not finna talk.
Dude,
you're not finna. The only reason why he's talking as much as he is because there's so many cameras on.
Bro, MP Singh's over here. He just fucking benched 325 15 times this morning.
He's got a serious pump.
You know, he's just like, I'm gonna fuck this cat up.
Hey, he's got a serious pump and a half erection right now.
Yeah.
He's so full of pre-workout and fucking protein powder.
His skin's still tingling from the pre-workout too. He's just like
he can't wait to. This was his dream. Every fucking rep, he was going to failure. Every fucking rep was one of these assholes called him a towel head faggot. And he was like, my fucking dream came true today. And this motherfucker just hit bingo.
And notice the cop in the back just like, fuck this.
Is that what you said?
I didn't say the thing you might have heard, but this gentleman over here, eh? Watch this.
Sorry, Jim. Sorry.
Mr. MP Singh, so sorry. Look, hey, that man's ass just ate his entire pair of briefs.
Yes.
The tightness. The cop, look at the cop, is like, oh, fuck.
Man, he's over there like, I saw him beat somebody's ass last week. I have to deal with this again. Oh.
The cop is like,
I've got to talk to my captain. This is
ridiculous. Like, why did they want to fuck with old boy who is not? He does not give a fuck about the cop. That's what I'm talking about. And the aide, you might as well just take notes, young man, because it wasn't chest day for you. Look how thick this motherfucker's neck is.
Yeah.
I'm not fucking with him.
Nope. Especially
if he walking like that.
Bro, he can walk up to me the way Tiny Lister did in fucking Friday. Be like, give me your bike, mate. You got it, dude.
He came up to this dude. That dude came up to him like DJ Pooh in Friday. It's like our bike, but I'm gonna keep it at my house. My bike, punk. Look at this. Look, watch old boy snitch though. 3.
No, I did not say that.
Who said it?
Look at it. Why are you snitching?
And the best part of this, they're probably neighbors in some cul-de-sac.
Oh, dude, they would. Let's go over there and tell that brown motherfucker what's up.
Yeah, we'll show him what's more Canadian, him or maple syrup. Right?
They were making so many racist jokes about flying carpets on the way over.
Oh,
they burn your kids' Aladdin DVDs.
They are driving a big Chevy 2500 HD with like Ontario plates over there right now. That's how they got
country
there.
It's all the Browns. Now making them talk like Canadian, man, that fake Jamaican hood accent. You're family, man. Oh my God, your mom's in the hood, eh? The fuck did that goofy chick with the big teeth say? Anyway, look at this. After he realizes that homie's a bitch, he ignored him as such. That's why the cops were. The cops like, hey, y'all gotta watch this shit. This motherfucker just punked 2 grown men with. This is the most badass shit I've never seen. I ain't finna stop shit. No, I ain't finna stop shit. I'm telling you to bring the other. Come down, Jack.
You're at Tim Hortons right now. Yeah, grab me some Timbits and a coffee and come on over here.
Bring me a Molson's, eh?
It's gonna be real nice over here. Better than a Leafs game. Yeah.
Better than a Leafs. Look at this. Look at old boy. Okay. Real talk. I think I said this when I first moved to Mexico, and I was scared of the stray dogs. Before I knew that wasn't gonna bite me. Whenever I would see a stray dog, I would do this with my phone. I look down like something was happening. I mean, like, I was like this. I was getting ready to go. I'm walking all cool. You gonna tell about the way I'm a lady, and I'm walking right. I got my shit all unzipped so they can so my tits can tan. I'm like, ha 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 ha. And one of the motherfucking dogs walk up and say,
You got both.
Oh no, I think podcast business has happened. I must go back home.
Well, if you wouldn't be gentrifying the Mexican animal kingdom, like bringing your podcasting down there.
I was so scared of dogs. You should see how big some of these dogs are. I would see a dog, I'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna go. Oh, look, no one called me. I'm just gonna go home anyway. That's what old boy just did right now. He was talking all that big shit. Hey, and he looks and he's looking him right in the eye. Goes, hey, you did you just call me a motherfucker? Huh? Is that what you called me? And look at dude, I'm looking at my phone. Excuse me, you were here?
Sir, I'm swiping right now on Tinder.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's on Wikipedia just looking at goofy shit. When did NASCAR start? He's looking at
like on the Canadian conservative version of Tinder, like
oh Jesus.
It's called Straight Date or some shit like that.
I was on I canceled my dating apps. I didn't even last a full week. There were so many women on there that was like, I'm a traditional woman looking for a traditional man.
Yeah.
I was so close to responding to one woman. So does that mean you churn your own butter and you want me to beat the shit out of you and just fuck you to have kids?
So I'm willing to dump a load, but I draw the line at drinking unpasteurized milk. Okay, that's where I draw the line.
I was so close to writing the most, and they would say everything like, and no darkness.
Oh, they would too.
They would try to be like, I prefer men of a lighter hue. But look at this. I'm pointing at you, and you're playing on your phone.
Somebody behind me said that.
Was it me? Was it you? No. You sure? If it was me, I'd admit it. Was it you or not? If it was me, I'd admit it. What'd you say then? I didn't say something. It wasn't me. It was a gentleman behind me, I guess. Who is it?
Who's behind you? Ain't nobody behind you. Everybody behind you is as scared as you. Here's what's really interesting about this whole confrontation. They're the same size. It's not like Singh has a size advantage. He's actually in clothes that can get him fucked up. He's in a suit.
Listen, he'll flex once, the sleeves will come off, and he'll have full range of motion. He's fine. He's fine.
You can grab him by the collar with that tie and choke him out.
Something tells me Noodle Arms doesn't have the physical strength to do that.
I see that now.
Yeah.
Oh, look at the hat he's wearing. Like a leaf scheme.
Yep.
You're so stupid. But look. You are with your homies. You came there to talk all that big shit. You talked the big shit. And old boy turned around and is ready to fuck shit up. He like, look, I'm ready to go all the way.
Oh, yeah.
How far do you want to take this?
That
sir?
look says I'm prepped to do 12 rounds right now.
Right now. The law is going to have to pull me off of you.
Mm-hmm.
But this is going to go to court. One of us might even go to prison. That's how much I don't give a fuck. I'm finna fuck you up in front of this little kid right here. Put him in therapy. He's finna go to therapy from the ass whooping I give you. Think about that for a second, sir.
And with our socialized health care, he'll be able to get it for free. What?
Do you... How dare you? I saw a clip of Hassan Piker, who I've said it before. Me and Ben ran into Hassan Piker in LA a few years ago. Hassan Piker is a large dude. He's got to be at least 6'4", 6'5". He's very solid. Nice guy. Doesn't want trouble. I wouldn't want to fuck with him. People like that don't want trouble, that aren't looking for trouble, I just don't want to fuck with them. And so Hassan was doing this, he's one of those people that I don't like that he does this whole, like my whole entire life now is streaming. And he was at a restaurant. He was talking about something that he was streaming about. And someone walked by and said, Destiny made you. And he just ignored it. Bigger man than me. Because at that moment, I would have been like, hey, say it again. And if he wouldn't have said it again, I would have pulled the jag meat and would have walked over and was like, say, I need you to say, here's the camera. Here's me. Now say it again. Yeah, I'm holding a fork in my hand ready to stab you with it.
Bro,
I want you to say it again. I want you to prove to the world how tough you are.
You put Destiny and my name in the same sentence, I'm going to kill you.
Right?
Like, that's just...
Right?
Ugh.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Why Do you want to go up to people you don't? I don't walk up to people I don't know and go, I think I could fuck your wife way better. I would never say that. Even if I really felt in my soul that it was true. It's not. I don't want to find out why he may think he can fuck me better. I don't want to find that out.
No, like you don't want to be on the wrong end of, like, you say something like that, you end up on the wrong end of an ass beating, and you wake up with like a ball gag in your mouth, and like you're just like spread cheek, just like, oh god,
Me and my big mouth.
it's like this. I bet you're wondering how I got here. You know?
Sean, you see Sean Combs fucking dancing around. Take that. Baby, there's just a baby oil. You're in the
like
baby
fountain.
oil.
Yeah, just like people got super soakers filled with baby oil and they're just shooting you with it.
That is not where you want to be when Jesus comes. And that's the kind of shit that can happen to you when you walk around trying to start trouble. If I walk up to a politician and say some crazy shit, I'm at a point where I'm ready to go all the way. I'm not trying to be cute for the fucking camera.
No.
And also, what does that get me in the long run? Like, seriously, what does it get me? Hey, Jagmeet Singh. All right. Then what? No, really, then what? I didn't do anything.
Yeah. You brought up no points. You know, it's all performative, you know, and it's just like
all this oil and all this lube and somebody here gonna fuck. That's what Jagmeet's finna sing to this dude as he's fucking beating the shit out of him.
You know, and the thing is, he's gonna not use lube when he jams his fist up the dude's ass,
jailhouse style.
Yeah, like
dude. This is not when you get like people see cats run up on AOC who's like 5'3".
Yeah,
you know,
my left leg's bigger than she is.
Right, she may have a fat ass and all, but she not really. You know, that's not China. I'm walking up on, right? Oh, yeah, fuck you. It's like, oh, that's, you know, I get it. You're mad, but what did you do? And
see,
really?
when I see people like do shit like that, I'm just like, she's done nothing in Congress. Why are you mad at her? She's holding a seat, bro.
Because I'm flexing. No, you're not.
Bro, just say you want to fuck her, cop to it, and move on with your life. It's okay. She's hot.
Like this dude right here. Just say that you're kind of attracted to Jagmeet Singh. You know, he's a handsome man.
Bro, yeah.
Look at him. He's diesel.
Fuck yeah. Dresses nice. And he's got an
terrifies his age.
Yeah, it's just that kid is just like, I did not sign up to fucking, you know, do this.
This kid came into that job, top of his class, never been in a fist fight ever. And now every other Thursday he's got to take Brazilian jiu-jitsu because fucking
Jagmeet like is like talking legislation, and then right before lunch, that hour before lunch, he's just like, bro, how is it down at the MMA gym? And he's just like, oh god damn it, not again.
Just getting twisted into a pretzel just to be the aid.
Jagmeet,
I got prepared.
I had my arm bent completely around my head. I'm not cut out for this. Oh, you will be. You
Mr.
will be.
Singh, I didn't know I could kiss my own ass.
Mr. Singh, they put me in the cage with the man they call the Canadian Conor McGregor. I didn't sign up for this. Oh, you did, bitch. You did.
You wanted to be my aide. Hey, you know how and he speaks in the third person. You know how Yags rolls.
Yeah.
You know how Yags rolls. Look at this dude. Watch this.
Point it out. I have no idea who it was, buddy. My word. You sure it's not you? No, 100%. You're a coward. You're not gonna say it to my face. That's what's up. Say what? You didn't.
And look at this dude off to the side. Look at this dude right here. He better not try to say it's me.
Like, that poor guy just walked out of those doors like, you know.
Oh man. And you see what his shirt says? Unmasked, unvaccinated.
The last line is unfucked.
Yag Meat is about to give him the 1-2 skidoo.
If I said something like that to you, I'd admit it.
All right. Now, I asked you if confidence vote came up.
Look at I asked you very calmly if you like green tea in the morning.
He really tried to, like, we heard him call him a corrupt whatever, and he turned that into, I was asking if there were, if you held a confidence vote, you know, that Trudeau character, he's ruining Canada. That's all I was asking about.
What a bitch. Y'all came down there talking all, you know, they was at home after they got done beating the shit out of the kids and the dog, talking all this big shit. And then, oh boy, just, I'm sorry, what was that? Say it again. Say it in my face. Here I am. Here I am. I didn't say, buddy, I would have, if I would have said it, I would have said it to your face, buddy.
I would have admitted it, okay? That's what I would have done. And it's like, bruh, you fucked up, homie. You fucked up. And like, I give Jagmeet a lot of credit because, you know, wow, Mercutio with the cultural joke. Oh. I'll be leaving in a case, but you'll be leaving in a body
bag. Put him in a body bag. Can you guys stop fucking with people?
Mercutio, well done, man.
You know what? Shout out. Give him a shout out.
Yeah.
You thought you were ready for the smoke. You left your house talking all that big shit. Old boy turned around, looked you right in the eye, and then had the audacity to point his finger in your face because you're a bitch. You're a bitch.
I mean, this is what kills me, right? Is a lot of these like fucking ultra conservative white power motherfuckers sit there and like, I got 38 guns and 50,000 rounds of ammunition, and I spent $2,000 on my body armor, and I'm gonna be able to confront these people that are taking our jobs and ruining our way of life. And you know, I mean, dude, the Republican governor or the Republican nominee for governor of North Carolina is a guy named Mark Robinson, a giant.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Dude is preaching in church that I got this AR-15, so when the government gets too big for their britches, I'm gonna put a bullet in them britches, right? Almost verbatim. And I'm like, bro, you would get winded just getting the rifle to your shoulder. Shut the fuck up. And it's just like noodle arms there, right? Yeah, you might shoot well, but can you do it while you're moving? Can you do it under fire? No. And I think the best thing, the one comedy bit I've just fallen in love with, it's this kind of goofy looking white dude with glasses. And he's like, now imagine, you know, we've turned our Civil War into a reality show, right? And he's like, so, you know, my name's, you know, Jim something, and I'm here with the 1st Idaho Militia. What's your name? Well, you know, I'm Bill Jenkins, and I've got a body armor and an AR-15 and 400 rounds of ammunition, and so do 200 of my comrades back here. And he's like, okay, well, how you feeling? You ready to take this, you know, the government on? Yeah, man, I'm feeling really good. We're going to be able to do this. And then like he's like, so, you know, I'm here with Senior Airman, which is an E4 in the Air Force. Senior Airman Johnson. What weapons do you have? Well, I got this drone, and you know, when I push this button, it'll just drop a bomb, and you know, that's it. And he's like, all right, so we got the drone in the air. Specialist Robinson, you ready to go? And he's like, well, I'm gonna hit the button now. and then you like the comedian as a host is like, and the militia's gone. You know, he's like, you know, if I can find the clip, I'll send it to you, Jason.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Of this situation. Like, look, stop Remember when Jim Rome wanted to call Jim Everett Chris Everett?
Oh yeah.
And Jim Everett said, "Man, I bet you won't say it to my face." And Jim Rome said, "I bet I will." And that's a point where Jim Everett goes, "I don't want to make this man's career. I think I'm ending it." And if he wanted to end Jim Rome's career, you beat the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm.
He hit him, and then he started talking shit over him, and people broke it up.
Yeah.
And I think when you get to a certain point in your life, a certain age, you're conscious of the repercussions of your actions. And I think Jim Everett went there to try to scare Jim Rome, and he didn't think this might make this guy's career.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, I wish more people, be they athletes or just like people who give a shit, would hit people like Jim Rome and Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
You know, because these people have been so used to running their fucking gobs for so many years with zero repercussions. The worst that happens is you get fired and the other network picks you up and gives you a bigger deal.
Or you get your own podcast and
Yeah.
you walk in the door with 70,000 followers and a big Patreon or
Yeah.
some company pays you a
Spotify
salary.
picked you up.
So someone will pick you up and pay you some money because you're going to come in the door with followers. And now you can say even more controversial things because you don't have the network over your head. For me personally, it just kind of speaks to a certain degradation of the way that we want to engage with information and news. It all has to be done in this way that's kind of a weird, violent spectacle, and it's filled with snark. Like the internet is just a snark machine. It used to be like cute videos and joy, and it's like
Angel Fire websites.
Yeah, like those days are long. Baby pictures are long fucking gone, man. Only old people like me give a shit about people's kids and like seeing anniversaries. And like when I was looking for the video, a friend that I toured with, when me and my ex toured, she was in a group with her dude, and we played shows all over the country together. And she just had a birthday. It's like, oh, she looks great. Oh, that's so good. And I was like happy to see a nice normal picture. It wasn't like, I've lost so many friends because of the debate.
My problem is
Sorry, guys. Hold on, Jason. I found it.
You found it?
Yeah. I'm gonna send it to you.
Yeah.
And then you can and then you can fucking put it up.
Side note, don't lose friends over the debate. If you're really friends with them, like don't do that.
Yeah. It's not worth it, man. It's not worth it because like I think everybody here knows damn well that these are just two sides of the same coin. And most of the people we're related to or friends with don't look at it the same way. So
This is Neil. This is Neil Brennan. This is Dave Chappelle's writing partner and best friend for years.
Yeah, well, it's a great bit.
I'm pulling it up now. Let's get this up here. Yeah, I love Neil Brennan. He's hilarious. You ready? Can you see it?
Yep.
That'd be it, right?
Yeah. It's either that or if you're on the coast, you're getting hit with gunships, artillery fire from gunships. Like shells as big as you, Jason, just dropping from the sky.
Like what? That a million? That was those dudes when they went to go, dude, we're gonna that fucking piece of shit Jagmeet Singh. We're gonna fucking call him out for being a piece of shit. Fucking liberal, fucking cultural Marxist. They called him a cultural Marxist.
Oh, like 8 times. They did. Yeah. They probably posted on Facebook that they were going to confront the cultural Marxist.
I'm sure they look at it, dude, like, dude, I saw him and I looked in his face, I looked right in his face, He was scared, No, he wasn't. He pointed his finger in your face and you sat there and shuddered.
After you shit yourself.
Yeah, your boy's ass got so tight, you swallowed your entire outfit through your butt.
Yep. And that's the thing, like, that's conservatism. It's people who scream and yell and proclaim tiny percentage of the population are ruining the cultural makeup of the country, and when you confront them back, it's immediately
The cultural Marxists are ruined. I think I don't know if I said this the other day. Someone was having this conversation with me about
cultural Marxism.
they didn't say cultural Marxism. They said the progressive wing of the Democratic Party is going to be the death of the Democratic Party. And I said, I don't know what that is. And they said, are you being serious? I said, I'm being totally serious. I don't know what that is. And he said, AOC. I was like, what has she done? And he was like, AOC. All right. You keep saying the bitch's name. I don't know. What is she? Did she not return your phone call?
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, and so he went on to say it's the trans stuff. And I was like, and the guy worked in like demolition or something. He was like he drove a truck and he worked in like demolition. And I was like, how many trans people work at your job? And he laughed. I was like, all right, how many trans people are applying to work at your company? And he laughed again. I was like, sounds like they're not really a problem in your world. Sounds like you don't even see them. He goes, well, the bathroom at my job now, it's like it's all gender. Just like the one at your house.
Oh yeah. Do you and your wife have separate bathrooms?
I mean, in a perfect house, yeah. Like my perfect house would be a bathroom in my room that no one could use unless we're having sex. Right? That's how I like bathrooms. I like my own bathroom. And it's like, oh, the person I have sex with, her and I share this bathroom. And there's another one for the children and guests.
Yeah, you don't come in the fuck dungeon bathroom, okay? That's our bathroom.
That's our bathroom. That's our special place. We don't want you peeing all over the place with your pee splatters on the floor. We don't want you farting in there and fucking up our beautiful scent. Our farts are better than your farts.
Yeah. It's like you don't want to go in there anyway. I've got a great sex swing that is just gonna freak you out. And the ball gag is on my nightstand right now. Okay, do you really want to encounter that when you're just trying to pee?
Just weird shit going on. Some weird pegging contraption or whatever. Like I just don't want you. I don't need you in my fucking house. I don't need you in my good bathroom. I have a bathroom in my apartment. And every time someone uses it, I always judge them in my mind. I do. If you've been to my house and used my bathroom, you know
Ben comes over after like drinking 3 gallons of water, and he's like, "Man, I really gotta piss." And Jason's just like,
And I'm like, I do. I go, yeah, you may.
Jason follows him with like Lysol, just.
There's so much stuff that smells in my bathroom because I don't want. There's like a candle. There's incense. There's multiple cans of different kinds of spray. Like, you know what I mean? I shared a bathroom at that warehouse with the worst people ever. I finally have my own. You know, you were in the military for. You know,
understand what you're saying. Yeah. Like when you shit, you want it to be your space to shit in.
Oh, dude,
I understand.
I got my ass super soaker, right, in its own little pouch. I never close the door because I live alone. This is what I love.
Yeah,
this is what I love.
See, it's gonna be funny when I get down there and Jason forgets I'm there and he just unleashes the most gnarly shit and he doesn't close the door. I'm like, oh my god, died. Jason turns into Dad from Friday. Don't come in here for 20-30 minutes. You just hear the spray hit.
Have you ever, like, when you have your own bathroom, you can baffle yourself on what's come out of, like today, not gonna lie, I was very baffled about what came out of me. I was like, I can't believe, and I said it out loud because I live alone and I can yell these things out loud. My God, I can't believe that came out of me.
What? It's like, what happened to me?
Someone says Ben lives too close to be pooping in your bathroom.
Ben and Jason had some bad street tacos, and Ben just immediately like, "Oh, Jason," and Jason's like,
Sorry, brother. You 4 clicks that way, my man.
There you go, bud. Just
Jason
clench.
did a hot box to his
Yeah. I know.
Like it's so I don't know if you guys do it too. Like someone comes on a date or something and it's like, oh, I'm judging you.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm really good friends with somebody I was in the army with. Like, we were in the army at the same time, but I was in the infantry unit when it was still all dudes, and she was a civil affairs officer, and I was like her beard because she was like way gay. But like, she would go to unit events before Don't Ask, Don't Tell was lifted and needed somebody like a dude, so they would stop fucking with her, right? And she's up in Raleigh now with her partner, and they have like a couple kids. And so I went up there just to hang out because I haven't seen him in forever. And like, she's out of the military now, and she like has this giant living room, and there's like a spare bathroom, and she was like, oh man, like I gotta piss, because like her and her partner, like, dude, they polished off like 2 bottles of wine before we even went out.
So they were wasted,
bro. Well, no, they're military women. They handle their liquor and booze very, very well. But she had to piss like so bad. Like, I'm watching her just down like glass of wine after glass of wine, and she doesn't break the seal. Me, dude, if I gotta go, I'm going. I don't give a fuck, right? So she goes in the bathroom, closes the door, the TV's on, and I could still hear her piss. And I was like, powerful stream, huh? And she was like, oh my God.
That's another thing. Like I've been drinking so much water. I don't even know why. I stopped drinking soda. It's been a little over a year now. And so I consume so much water that sometimes the peas are really powerful. And I'm like super proud of that for no good reason whatsoever. Yeah. I'm just like, oh wow, that's really, and this is the things I can say by myself that I feel really comfortable with, but I don't want anyone else having a powerful piss in my bathroom.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you came to my bathroom and had a powerful piss, I'd be like, oh my God, there's going to be droplets all over the floor. I hope it doesn't touch the brand new black toilet mat. Oh my God, heavens to Megatroid. Can you please sit when you pee? Sir Mac. I know I turn British when people pee in my bathroom. I don't know why. Can you please sit when you pee? Thank you, good sir.
Oh, man. Dude, when I come to your house and you ask me to sit when I piss, I'm doing it with the door open. You can do it with the door open, and we can have a full-on conversation and a champagne jam. I don't give a damn. But if you're sitting while you're peeing, that's a very safe pee. It's a clean pee. It's hey, my boy, a guy I bet he manages the bar me and Ben always go to here in Rosarito. And when we first met him, he had people over at his house, and he goes, man, all my friends get mad at me. They think I'm fucking with them. If you're a dude and you come into my fucking house, you got to sit when you pee. And I didn't know what he meant at first. I thought he was just being like some jailhouse shit. Like, he was trying to bitch everybody. But no, he was like, I don't want your pee driplets. I don't want to. If I walk barefoot on my floor and I touch water that I didn't leave, I'm going to be upset. And that's a fair thing to be upset about. Bro. Whether it comes out of me or comes out of you, it's still piss.
Yeah, but my piss is different because it's mine.
My kidneys filtered the liquid that I put in my body.
Just like if you fart and it's really horrible, you can be like, oh God, that's horrible. And it's your own horrible and you feel your own bad way about it. But if I did the same horrible fart, you'd be like, oh, right? You're going to all this shit. And you're going to tell everybody, dude, Jason farted and he literally killed a squirrel. Like all the fucking stories.
He knocked out a whole pack of wild dogs with that fart.
Imagine like my wife's eyes just water. Like, but you could do the same thing. It's totally different.
Like your little dude walks into the room and just turns around and walks out. Like, oh God, Dad did it again. He had tacos.
Like, God forbid someone takes a shit at your house and then streaks your bowl. Because if You really want to see that? I'll turn into Simon Cowell from like the 3rd season of This is utterly disgusting. Are you even a human?
Dreadful.
What kind of a person would dare do this? I would be so.
You know what kind of person would dare to do that? R. Kelly.
R. Kelly would totally take a shit in your house and not clean a streak off a bowl.
Dude, R. Kelly is leaving an upper decker in your toilet. Why? Because he can.
The last tour, and maybe this is why my ex took off. The last tour we were on, we did 6 months straight.
Oh, god damn.
Or 4 months straight. It's a
Still.
very long time. Sorry, 4 months straight. And that wasn't even the whole tour. That was just a leg. And this is like our 2nd or 3rd time coming to North Dakota. And we played the town Matt Leck is from. Starts with a B. I can't think of the name of it right now.
Bismarck.
But anyway, Bismarck. Thank you. We played Bismarck. And we played this really cool little hole in the wall kind of one of those cool like man-made venues where someone's like, hey, my dad's got an old garage. Let's just do punk rock here. And my ex went to go use the bathroom. And the people that ran the venue go, well, there's a little problem with the toilet. And she's like, what's the problem? And he goes, have you ever heard of an upper decker? and both of us are standing next. We're standing next to each other. And again, my ex is from Canada, and she was like, an upper decker. And she looks at me. She's like, "What's an upper?" And we've been touring for a while at this point. We've seen the most disgusting of everything, right? We've seen just there's no cool bathrooms at venues, and so the guy goes, "It was kind of a wild night last night, and someone pulled an upper decker." And again, she goes, "I don't. What is an upper decker?" He goes, "They take the lid off the toilet and then they shit on top of the toilet." And she was so appalled, it affected her performance.
That's the thing. Canadians are so nice. They're just like, I can't do that. I can't shit in there. That's not what that's for.
The look of utter awe at the fact that someone would take the time to remove the lid, sit irresponsibly, then take a shit. And what really pissed her off, she was like, they didn't wipe or wash their hands.
Oh, that is foul.
And that was like all this was going like the whole night because we couldn't use the bathroom. And you drive all over the country for hours and you drink an insane amount of coffee and water and soda and all the things. And all you want to do is, okay, we're going to go to the venue and use the bathroom. And you get there like, hey, you can't piss because some asshole took shit on top of the toilet and we have to fix it. It's all fucked up. And it makes you hate these actions that people think are punk rock.
Yeah.
Or cool.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it. An upper decker, that is purely vindictive and vengeful.
Oh.
The one time I did it to somebody, it was to a platoon sergeant that just motherfucked me up and down for a mistake that he made and forgot he made it. And I was like, fuck this dude, man. And he's like, hey, I'm doing a barbecue at my house this weekend. And I was like, I got you, bitch. So like I called my buddy Frace up. I'm like, hey, I'm gonna need you to swing by and pick me up. And he's like, all right, bet. Why? And it's like noon when I called him. The thing doesn't start till like 4. And I'm like, I'm drinking a case of beer and eating Taco Bell before I get there. And he's like, that's probably smart, man. Pregame, get some food in you. And, he'll have burgers and hot dogs. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So, dude, I smash like fucking like 8 soft tacos from Taco Bell. I polish off a case of Miller Lite cans, not bottles, cans. Frace comes to get me, and I'm just sitting there. I feel my stomach's churning already, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be worth it. And I'm like, hey, boss, where's the bathroom? And he's like, hey man, down the hall to the right. And dude, I went, fuck that. I found the one in his bedroom. Pop the lid off the tank, drop trow, shit. I wiped my ass, dropped the toilet paper in the tank as well.
Oh my God.
Washed my hands, and then promptly called a cab and left.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
That man is in therapy with the guys that with Yak Me Sings fucking assistant.
They're
The horror.
They're in group therapy together. And what was great is Monday morning, we're doing PT formation. He's like, I'd like to know. And he kind of had this high pitch. I'd like to know who shit in the tank in my toilet. And nobody raises their hand. Nobody says anything. Nobody says a fucking word. And he's like, I don't even think he noticed that I just left. Like it's like he saw me, but there was like 40 people there. So like I didn't, face to face with him a lot. And I'm just sitting, I was in weapon squad, so I'm in the very back of our platoon, and I'm just dying, dude. I'm like laughing. And he's like, you think this is funny? I was like, fuck yeah, that's hilarious. Whoever did that is a fucking genius. I was like, you must have really pissed them off. And then literally the day before he signs out of the unit, Jason, I was like, hey, bro, it was me. I just fucking walked out of his office and I waited for it to click. And he just was like, motherfucker. Totally worth it. Totally fucking worth it. That guy could kiss my ass. One of the worst leaders I ever had, dude. I mean, Eric, sometimes in the military, when someone higher ranking yells at you, you're just like, I can't say anything back because they can hit me with like an Article 15. Like, that's it. But I can get back at them. And when you invite me into your home and you screamed at me for 2 hours over something you fucked up, and then you remembered you fucked up and you didn't even apologize, nah, bro. Game over. Game over.
See, now you got me scared to have you at my house.
Dude, we're good. As long as I get there and you're not like, Mac, I had 3 boxes of raisins and there's only 2. Did you eat my raisins? And then you start screaming at me. And then it dawns on you, well, Mac and I were out late last night and I had to pull his tipsy ass into the pad. And I was kind of hungry from lugging around his big ass. So I ate some raisins. And then you realize it. I see the light. I see the ding. Oh, shit. I ate them. And then you don't even apologize. See,
I would never do that.
If you did that, then yes, you're going to find a giant turd in the tank.
I have a new thing that I'm messing with now because they're kind of, I'm surprised at the abundance of them in Mexico. Pecans.
Oh, pecans are those are awesome.
I'm a big fan of making spiced pecans.
See, what I typically do with pecans now is I'll buy just like a bag because it's cheaper, and I'll put like I have like a seasoning for like, it's spicy though, right? For like steaks and stuff. And what I'll do is I'll just put like in the bag, I'll put some in there and shake it up, and enough of it sticks to where I can just, the full jar, Jason. Well done, sir.
Oh, you were, I don't know. I thought you were on that show when I talked about how I went to a neighborhood market and they have like a jar. I found these pecans recently and I'm like, another salad I rather enjoy is a spiced pecan spinach salad. If you take pecans, a little honey, brown sugar, and cayenne pepper or like spicy stuff, and like cook it off real quick in the oven. So it's like nice and, maybe chop them up into bits. That spinach and strawberries for me is like so good.
That is why you're single. Your salads are extra.
Well, Ben Burgess just showed up at my house. He just drove like 3 hours from Los Angeles. We're going to go get non-shittable Mexican food.
That's good because We don't need him shitting in your place. We don't want that. It's gonna be funny. We're all gonna go out together, everybody, and then Ben's gonna do an upper decker, and then Jason's gonna yell at me, and then Ben's just gonna laugh about it until he's like, "Well, Jason, you kind of fucked me over and said something really snarky and did not apologize, so I had to take my vengeance on you."
Again, but this goes back to my original point. You don't know what people are capable of.
Yeah.
And I now know that you're capable of taking a Taco Bell shit in the top of somebody's toilet. So I wasn't trying to fuck with you in the first place.
Well, see, that's good. I wouldn't fuck with you like that either, unless it came down to something like that. and like the thing is, dude, yeah, right, Kush? Right? You know, it's like Jason wakes up one morning and is like, I want spinach for protein. I also want some fruits. And let me get the nuts involved. I'm just gonna throw them all together. Maybe I'll put a nice vinaigrette on it as well.
I
did. Oh man.
Can you please read this comment?
Jason was a very young child and was trapped in a natural foods dry goods store, and he survived eating kale and raisins. That's what happened in his personality. Oh, Nuri, he went full salad pervert. He really did. Now, if we didn't know Jason so well, we would immediately just reach through the screen and take his black card from him and then give him like white suburbanite card because his food choices just state.
Dude, you know how
I am from Cleveland, but I really was born in Lakewood. Okay, like
there's nothing wrong with that salad combination. Salad pervert.
I mean, Nuri just we got a perfect name tag for you now. Next time we do a meet and greet, we're just gonna fill it out. It's gonna say salad pervert.
Salad pervert pictures with the salad pervert.
Yeah.
I thought that would be an improvable salad. I thought people were like, oh, I've had that in a nice restaurant before. Do you need mandarin oranges? Would that have been better for you? Your fucking bourgeois tastes?
No, dude. I don't eat salad.
Why?
I don't like leafy greens.
Well,
I mean, I'll substitute like lettuce for spinach on a burger, you know, but I won't.
Oh,
Salads just aren't my thing, man.
So you'd really hate the spinach cherry tomato scramble I've been doing then.
Oh my God, what is wrong with you?
Virtuoso. Virtuoso said, damn, Jason, how bad do you want to work at Whole Foods?
It's going to be funny. One day, guys, we're getting ready to kick off the show, and I'm going to see Jason like a Whole Foods apron. He's like, dude, I needed some extra cash. He just walks in with like bags of.
And the salads there. Jesus.
Have you seen the salads, Mac? Oh.
Look, dude, I'm telling you.
Like Terry Crews punches through the wall and it's like, bitch, give me that card. You're just like, oh, Terry Crews.
There's nothing wrong with these salad combinations, and there's nothing wrong with the spinach cherry tomato scramble.
Where's my gun?
Look, Mac, I feel great. I feel lighter on my feet.
It's because you shit all the time.
That could be part of it.
Jason's gonna be like, hey, Mac, I went and got my colon cleanser. There's nothing in there because I just shit it all out anyway.
That could be a part of the equation. I did. You know what's so fucked up? I did make a vinaigrette. I made a Jamaica vinaigrette.
I knew you would do that. See, the thing is, this is what I've noticed, right? Like, you and I are good enough friends to say that I think we're pretty good leftists, right? But we have bougie aspects to our personality. Yours is with food. And me, I think it's maybe because I'm so close to it now, it's expensive cars. Like, if you just look at my Instagram, the last picture I put up was a Silverado EV that is just amazing.
It's like a
so-
12-year-old boy's room where there's like all those pictures of like
Oh
Lamborghinis and
God,
shit.
yeah, dude. Bro, we just got this new Corvette, Jason. It's blue and it's got like it almost looks like Deadpool stripe down the center of the
That's
whole
kinda
fucking
dope.
thing. And I was like, oh man, I want that. And I was like, I'll never be able to afford this. And it just made me sad. Because I got to drive it. I got to drive it at 10 miles per hour around the lot to park it.
When I worked at a dealership, I was much younger though. When I worked at a dealership, I was totally into cars, and then after that, I was totally into cars, and then I made a lot of money, and I bought some cars, but now I've had the same car for like 6 years, and I think I changed the oil in it twice, and I drive at least once a month to the Bay.
Jason.
Oh yeah, I treat that car like a fucking 26-year-old stripper with a meth addiction.
Oh my God. I know that what I'm going to do the first thing I do when I get down there. I'm going to change your fucking oil.
That oil is so black it sings Negro spirituals.
Well, at this point, it's not black anymore. It's almost water, brown water.
that oil is so fucked up. No, Mac, that car, I'll usually check the oil, and sometimes I forget because everything is full service here. So you go to the gas station, they'll ask you in Spanish, do you want us to check the fluids? And sometimes they'll be like, hey, your oil is low. And they say that so they can, you buy oil. And I'm like, oh, no, it's in the trunk of my car. And they'll just, there you go. I said it. That's a natural oil change. My car has an oil cleanse.
Jason, you're killing me, dude.
My car has an oil cleanse.
Like, if I'm your car, I'm dreading every time I see you walk near me. You know,
My
it's just
car,
like, oh.
Yeah, my car is like, can this grown man stop acting like an irresponsible teenager?
Can he please just do some maintenance on me? Just a little bit?
This is Jason's Django oil. My oil is, yes. It's yeah. Well, let's not talk about that because I have to drive north soon to see my child. So
oil change before you go.
It's really cheap here too. It's just me being a
dude. You'll save yourself a lot of headaches because the last thing you want to do is be on your way to the Bay and your entire engine fucking seizes.
Look at what this dude's. Look at
me. Jason's cars have come and gone, but one thing remains the same: keeping a cooler in the car containing a carrot raisin salad.
You guys are so mean. I'll be back tomorrow night talking about the horrors of the fast food industry and neoliberal capitalism with journalist Alex Park, who is doing some really good work in this regard. And there's a lot going on with fast food labor that I was not aware of. I was not aware, Mac, that prison labor is used in certain parts of the country at fast food places.
Mm-hmm.
I did not know that. And B, I didn't know about some of the child labor that takes place at fast food places, and kind of this lie of virtual kiosks. One of the things that I read in one of Alex's articles was that there was a chain of restaurants that had a virtual like window to order your food, and the people you were talking to through the window were in India, so they didn't have to pay U.S. salaries. Yeah. For people to take your orders.
I mean, it literally all started in COVID when, we didn't want to work, supposedly. But you saw states like Arkansas drop the state, age to start working to 13. And it's not even just at fast food joints, meat processing plants.
That's also part of what we're going to talk about. In these industries that were at one time a little more unionized. Mm-hmm. We can get into the history of why that is. So it's going to be a very fun conversation. I hope you guys tune in. And then Saturday, the gang will all be back, and we'll be talking about black ventriloquism.
Or you could do Sikh ventriloquism and bring up our favorite MP from Canada.
I still think that is the funniest shit ever.
Bro, yeah. I mean, I love seeing people get their comeuppance. It's great fun for me.
Don't think you can just walk up to somebody, talk that shit, and then they walk up back to you and you deny that you said it.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you can deny that and then look cool. And don't try to say, I thought I was going to get arrested. No, you didn't.
And there was or blame the dude behind you, that mythical
No, you
dude
didn't.
behind you, the one that
You thought you were going to get them paws on you
Mhm.
from Yag Meat. So, all right, guys. Thank you so much, Mac. Thank you again. And
course.
we are
out.